perfect timing for us to tune in on some racing. They're addressing the bottom marks right now. I see some preparations here to take down the Jennerker on this boat number 3.
Actually, we can see that Wassersportverein Himmelingen lost 2 places on the downwind because they jibed way too late, so they had to go a quite high angle. We can see they're going quite high. The boat is heeling. So yeah, they gave some advantage to Club Naval de Casquet and Wassersportverein de Möwen.
And quite impressive actually from the Cascais club from Portugal, because they are normally sailing on quite different facilities, or they are sailing in the Atlantic Sea, and they said this morning that it is quite challenging here on a lake with so flat water and little wind. So great job by these young guys from Cascais, now leading this race so far. But we still have one more round to go. But it's still light. How would you say the sailors are like moving in the boat? And we see some legs over the. I think this must be the first time in this event so far that we see some legs out over the.
Yeah, so we could. Yesterday was no racing on the first day. We could manage to do 3 races, so 1 flight with really, really light breeze. So it was really patchy. It was only possible to do Champions League racing. A normal regatta could not have taken place. And now the breeze kicks in. That's great.
Yes, and we just saw some good roll text there, and it's. As a sailor, you just love when you have enough pressure to actually push down the boat on the windward side. And here we see all 4 sailors sitting to the windward here on the Portuguese boat. And so far they are leading this race, doing a great job in these quite tricky conditions. And I guess on a lake like this, Lena, you need to be all the time flexible for what's going to happen next, because this is known for lakes that you never know what's going to happen in an hour, right?
Actually, just something happened in the last half hour. Before we had southwestern breeze, and actually I just checked, and now the wind is from the northwest.
Yes.
So, and that's a pretty good direction from here, because you have quite a flat shore, so the wind is coming quiet. That's why it makes sense that it's not so shifty at the moment. And it's also stable. It's a stable direction. We have a few directions on the lake that work, and we have a few directions that won't work, and northwest is a quite good direction. So I really hope that this is stable and this is not just one cloud that passes by and then the wind is gone.
No.
Let's pray for that.
Yes, let's hope that. But how does the weather forecast look for the rest of the day today, Lena?
So it depends a lot on. We have a big rain system which is now at Lake Constance, which is like 100 kilometers west from here.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is coming over, it looks like really good breeze. We have there like 10 knots at the moment at Lake Constance, and this comes then also here. But it could also be that this shifts more to the north, and then we have a little bit less breeze here. So we have to see what happens with the clouds and what's the wind direction. But northwest is really good.
Yeah, and we can see here the Portugal guys from Cascais. They managed this race so far. Again, they are rounding this top mark as number 1. And as we are hoping for the best for the winds, they are, of course, as well the sailors out there, but they're also having to be flexible and all the time adjust to the wind conditions. And these Portugal guys here did a great job, leading quite far, I must say.
They even extended their lead on the second upwind. They didn't do something special. They just tacked with the gusts, with the shifts, and just try to stay in between their opponents and the upwind mark. And that's how you have to do it. Great job.
And here we see the Swedish making a jibe set here, having a little bit of complications. It's always hard jibing around the top mark, especially with these upwind boats coming just behind them. But here they had the Jenneker up, standing fine. And we saw the Watersportverein de Möwen, I think, in this boat number 4. And here we have boat number 3 with Wassersportverein. Oh, they are...
And actually, a great thing from my point of view happened this upwind. The Deutsche Thüringer Club, the host of this Champions League qualifier, rounded the downwind mark in 4th position and then went quite extreme to the right side on the upwind and then managed to round the top mark as 2nd. So they now look like they could bring a 2nd into the finish, which would be really good for them as they already scored a 1st and a 2nd in the last races.
Yes, they have so far shown some home advantages here at this regatta, leading so far as I'm aware. So and they probably know how to like have a comeback in a race like this. I can imagine being from here.
And just try to play on the right side. As I said, it's nothing. You can't say go right if in northwestern direction. You can't say that. It's just they maybe they saw something, a good cloud, a shift, a breeze, and good job.
And here we have the Portugal team, who's so far still leading, even though the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club are getting closer and closer behind them. Here they just did a great jibe, and these young sailors were actually participating in the Youth Champions League last year, so they are used to this setup and this and having some Champions League experience, but still young guys. Really impressive job here so far, and keeping the lead. I think we will see them finish in a. But look how close it is, Lena. Super close between the three.
It seems to be the right side is a bit promising. The Wassersportverein Himmeling goes over the right side, and let's see who they squeeze in.
Yes.
What a pity for me.
Are you actually biased here, Lena, at this regatta?
Maybe.
You're allowed to.
I try to hide that.
No, it's fine. But really nice top 3 here from Club Naval de Cascais. On first place, second place was for Deutscher Touring Yacht Club, and third spot went for the Wassersportverein Himmeling. We're not sure about 1 and 2 or 3, right? We think it looked as if the blue Jennaker actually crossed the line first. We'll have to have that confirmed from the
tracker,
we'll have to have that confirmed from the starting vessel, of course. And here we have the last boats ending the finish. Interesting race, and just amazing to see that there was finally some wind, because this is what we sailers really need to get going, and okay stable, even though there were some shifts to play with, because we saw the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club actually being able to fight themselves up from 5th to 2nd or 3rd, something like this.
Yeah, they had not a good start. They started on the left side, which was not favored, and then they were a little bit behind them, and with the extreme right decision, right strategy on the second upwind, they recovered and finished 3rd. And
we will try to have an interview with the Touring Yacht Club from Deutsche Touring Yacht Club. We'll see if we can get ready. Here on board we see, we just had the teams are all the time shifting boats, and we see here the Norddeutsche Regattaverein, who jumped into
cleaning.
Yes, with the protest flag. And here we actually, Lena, we have to talk about this. Look what David has on his ankles here, the helmsman of this boat. Because of the corona situation everywhere in the world, the security here in the harbor in Tutzing is amazing. Like, we are scanned every day to see if we have a fever in the morning, and then you get a red band. And here David put it on his ankles to not have it when he's sailing. And this is really great security to be sure that the sailors are not.
This is super important. Of course, it's in these times it's a kind of a risk Deutsche Touring Yacht Club takes, that they host a Champions League qualifier, and it was not unthought. A lot of discussions were ahead, and it was ensured by security, by fever measures, by wearing masks and so on, that it's really, really safe. Now we can see Ollie, who's already sitting there with the Deutsche Touring Club guys.
Oliver, do you have a comment from the Touring Yacht Club now?
Yeah, we can have a comment in quite a couple of seconds. We're just changing the boats. Paulo, Laura, to whom I talk? Who's the tactician on board? You're the tactician. So how was the race? How do you analyze the race? It was a bad start, then you picked it up again, and then finally only place number 3. So
yeah, it was a bad start. It was a bad start, but we found our way on the first up and then we did some bad decision in the final and lost the second clip.
You're from the lake. What are your forecasts for the direction and the wind today? You think it will pick up, or it stays pretty shifty as it is?
We figure some wind from all directions.
There's some thunderstorm coming in. I don't know if you can see it there, getting darker and darker. But it's much better sailing than the days before. And third place is okay. But next time I'm sure you're going to do better. Okay, good luck for the next race. Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit difficult to hear exactly what the teams were saying, but they didn't seem over the moon about this result. Even though, as Ollie said, third is still a good result. I could feel a little bit of a disappointment. They just in the last minute went from 2 to 3.
But that's every sailor is like this. Even if you had a day with 3 first places and then 1 bad race, and if the bad race was the last race, you'll have a really bad. You go to bed with a bad impression of the day.
Yes, yeah. But this is the fighting spirit, and of course they'll be able to improve this result later on today. But Ollie said something we can't see from here, but he said it looked as if we have some thunderclouds coming in soon. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I'm just checking the rain forecast, and it doesn't look like it's coming here. It just looks like it passes by. That's maybe why we got the wind, because it's like pushing a little bit the wind, which the rain clouds which are passing by. Doesn't look like we got some rain. That's good, because sailors don't like water.
Well, when you're first racing, you don't really notice that it comes from above as well. It's first when you finish the race, you're like, oh, it's raining. But yeah, as we talked, we just saw this short interview with the hosting club, who is also the club who is leading the Sailing Champions League qualifier here so far, the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club. And Lena, as you said before, it must have been a different decision to host this Sailing Champions League, and 2020 has for all sports just in general looked different. And but we're so happy that the club here in Tutzing took on this regatta, and also you told me they hosted the first national German league ever in 2013 or 14 or something.
2013, yeah, that's right. So the kickoff of the whole league sailing, which was invented in Germany, was actually here. So it's a great thing that we have the Champions League here. And also the race committee, which we can see now, is very experienced. They also did the race committee at last year's Champions League finals in St. Moritz. And they did, I don't know how many leagues they did as a race committee, but we can be sure that we have fair races here, and that we
have experts,
that they take everything out of this bad wind situation we have.
Yes, getting the best out of it for sure. We see them working hard here, and they're actually getting famous for their work here at the both the national German league, but also the Sailing Champions League. And as you said, they were in St. Moritz last year at the finals. But yeah, the plan definitely changed. It will be a different year here in 2020. Stop.
The next race is presented by SAP.
So now we are back to racing. We have 15 seconds to the start now. The boats are approaching. It looks really close. Like they're all Like they all try to squeeze in on the left side. And that's it. Looks really close. Great start from Wassersport.
Verein Gijs Beck. They had the best start here in the red boat to the leeward end of the race. I really love to see how the teams are using their bodies to get the best speed out of the boats here in the start. It was an amazing pump all the boats got just there in the starting frequency, and the J70s just sail really well when you get these when you use your body well for pumping and also for especially the roll tax.
That's also the special thing about the J70. I mean, it's a keelboat, but it's really sensitive. So people who come from the 420 or 470, which are used to small boats, or even from the laser, they usually are good with handling these boats. Because you have to be sensitive. It's like
it's like a keelboat that sails like a dinghy.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, that's a perfect.
Yeah, here we see it again. These perfect when you maneuver the boats in a team. Well, they get this little pump to windward after the tack, and it's just necessary to get the boats sailing forward. A little bit less wind I see in this race, Lena, but
we have like 1 knot less, but it's still all right. Oh, that looks quite close.
Yes.
Oh,
Whoops.
might be a penalty.
Yes, let's see if we'll have any protest there. Very daring from I think it's the Dutch team who went in front of the Norddeutsche Regattaverein here. Yes.
Sometimes it's also like this, that when you pass by on port and you communicate, hey, can you let me go? Can you let me go through? And the other might say, yeah, go, because then they don't have the risk that the other one is taking on. So of course, the green boat had the room to go, but sometimes you're communicating like that.
To be able to get your lane, and right now, I think it must have been the case, Lena, because right now they're both going. No protest has been. And they're both in fairly free winds. Or the drone picture shows a little bit more.
It looks like that first from the start it looked like the left side is quite good, but then after the start there was a tiny right shift that also looked for me a little bit. I couldn't quite see from here. That also the boats on the right side had a little bit better breeze, because now it seems like the right boats are
Yeah, let's see if we can have a comment from Ollie out there on the water, because he is actually out there and seeing it close by.
Yes,
Because
I can hear you, and I'm pretty close here. I mean, it was really, really interesting to see. As Lena analyzed, I mean, at the start it looks like that the left-hand side paid off. The Dutch team had a really, really good start. But during the first upwind, we saw that the right-hand side paid off. But now, the closer they get to the first windward mark, which is the right, the green mark, it turns back to the left. So it's really, really close racing. It's pretty shifty and gusty. So you can't even say that there's one angle that is a favorite one. So it's changed, and I now can see the guys from Mühlenberger Segelclubs. Perhaps we can see them. They are leading, and their start was, I'd say, average. They were in the middle, but they choose at the right time the right side. So first they went to the right, then they tacked to the left again, and now they are leading the pack, and it seems to me that they are rounding the first mark in the first place. So really good job from the Mühlenberger Segelclub from the north of part of Germany, from Hamburg.
And there... Norddeutsche. Oh, wir hören es ja gar nicht.
Yeah, this is a quite close rounding here between the Mühlenberger Segelclub and the Norddeutsche Regattaverein, who just squeezed themselves in there. This is always dangerous in the J70s because you lose some speed, but they just got the kite up right and are actually hanging on there. Great job from the Norddeutsche Regattaverein, who is in the leeward of the French team, Club de Val Saint-Aubin Elbeuf. But as Ollie said out there, Lena, it seems really tricky. Like he said, left in the beginning at the start was good, then right, and then a little bit left again in the end. I mean, the sailors really need to be aware out there.
Yeah, really tricky. And we just saw that the Norddeutscher Regattaverein had to do a penalty because actually, apparently they touched the mark, and that's expensive. Now it looks like they drop back to last position or.
Yes, and this was this rounding we saw where they squeezed themselves in. They had the room to go in there probably because they had the overlap of the other team. I'm guessing. Mühlenberger Segel Club.
Yeah, I think the only problem that could have been was touching the mark.
Exactly. So expensive. We saw them just before in the picture that they were almost one of the last boats now. But here we are inside the Mühlenberger Segel Club boat.
Would be quite sensational if they win the race. They are in the second national league in Germany, and they are allowed to sail here due to a wild card. So they are not regularly qualified to this Champions League qualifier.
But so far they did a great job and are definitely living up to their wild card here in this second race in Flight 3. Have a great jibe here.
So you can also see they are really, really experienced. Last year they were also in the first National League, and then after the season they dropped down to second National League.
Yeah, but the competition is so high. I mean, most countries have first and second, and some even in Germany you have even third division, right? No, only first and second. Okay. But the level is so high. So also where I'm from in Scandinavia, we see teams that are really doing well that are actually dropping down into second division. So it's a tough competition, but definitely right now the Mühlenberger Segel Club are defending their lead, going towards the downwind marks here on the second leg.
They are heading to the left gate mark, which is quite well favored, which you can also see from the drone shots. And yeah, seems like they just kept the distance to the others. Now they go a bit fishing.
Yes, but quickly saved that one. And it's about keeping up the kite as long as possible in these light winds, because if you bring it down too early, you'll really lose some of those boat lengths towards the bottom mark. Here on second place right now, we have Club de Wal St. Aubin Ølbø. And on third spot, rounding here, is Bordet de Tribord Club. And Norddeutscher Regattaverein actually has a little bit of a comeback already in this race.
Yeah.
They're doing a really great job, and we must say the team who is participating here in this race here in Tutzing they are very experienced. David Chapman, who is helming the boat, is actually from Sydney. Last year he won the Sailing Champions League representing the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, and this year, due to the corona, he has been living in Hamburg and is now participating with the Norddeutscher Regattaverein, who was second at the Sailing Champions League finals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of experience on that boat.
Yeah, so we should expect a lot from these sailors.
And Lena, explain, why are they going so much forward in the boat right now, as we see here on the Norddeutscher Regattaverein? Why is one of the crew members at the front of the mast?
Yeah, you always try to put as much weight as possible forward when you have light breeze, because then the back of the boat gets out of the water and you're just laying better in the water and you have less friction with the water.
So again, great boat handling here from the Norddeutscher Regattaverein, who now maybe looks as if they squeezed themselves into a maybe third or fourth position, something like this. But still we have the Mühlenberger Segel Club leading here, and is the wind has it got a little bit to the right now, or is it still?
It doesn't look like it's clearly going to the right or to the left. It looks like that after the gate it got a little bit to the left and then a little bit back to the right. Now it looks a bit more like a lefty, so
it's at least
no clear direction. That's lake sailing. You can't really depend on one side.
Yeah, as Ollie said out there on the water, it is close racing and it is really shifting. So the sailors need to keep their eyes out of the boat.
And then we can also see the green mark, which is the upwind mark, and Mühlenberger Segelclub does a quite, just defensive tactics to keep their lead in, and it looks like.
Yeah, let's see if we can have some commentary from on the water from Ollie, who now when we will have this top mark rounding. Ollie, can you hear us out there on the water?
Yes. I can hear you loud and clear. Well, it is really tricky, but the guys from Mühlenberg, boat number 1, the black boat, they're doing a really good job. They're just controlling the fleet. Getting back to the mark rounding before with the Norddeutsche Regatta fine, they got a penalty in. Honestly speaking, I saw the situation. I partly disagree with the decision of the jury because it was a classical windward leeward situation, and they got the penalty in. A big, pity for Norddeutsche Regatta fine because they rounded the mark, or they would have rounded the mark as the first or second place. But as you analyze Susan and Lena pretty well, I mean, there's a comeback. It's a really good team. He's a very good skipper. We just discussed on board, how he's handling the boat. They always keep the boat going. You have a really good boat speed, and he's now already back on fourth places because after his penalty, he was last, and at the first downwind he made some meters and some gains, and now he's back on fourth. Interesting to see if he got the chance to get one of the others from leading boats right in front of him. But yeah, great team performance and tricky racing. It's not, I wouldn't say that it's too shifty. It's quite stable. There are some gusts coming through. It's brightening up, by the way, so I don't see any thunderstorm, but as long as the clouds are here, as Lena mentioned, we will have stable conditions here. It's interesting to watch, and I think the sailors are happy that fair racing is going on, and we are much looking forward for the next races.
Comments, it's great to have some on-water eyes out there. We'll get back to you later after the finish, but as Oliver said, still really shifting, and one interesting thing he mentioned as well was this penalty that we talked about. So it was a normal windward leeward penalty, as I understood.
Yeah, it looks like.
So
that's also what I don't understand. They attacked early, they were in clear, I don't know.
But the umpires are always right, Lena, and the Norddeutsche Regatta fine did their penalty and are now somewhere around third or fourth. But here we have the leaders so far in the picture, the Mühlenberger Segelclub, who are looking, he's looking intensively backwards as if he knows that his lead can be taken before the start, but I think the gap is all right for him. Maybe they are looking when should they jibe now, because it will be probably their last jibe into the finish line.
Yeah, it looks like the second and the third are having quite a fight. I think in these situations it will be about who managed to jibe first and do the best jibe, and
might be an advantage for the green boat we see all the way here in the back of the picture, the Norddeutsche Regatta fine, because when we have this case with these two boats now from Switzerland and France fighting and trying to see who can jibe first and so on, it will give the Norddeutsche Regatta fine hope to actually maybe overtake them. Their jibing still looks a little bit far for the Norddeutsche Regatta fine, but these two, the yellow and the turquoise boat from Switzerland and France, it will be interesting to see how they will enter the finish line.
And if you're looking for some more information, you can get on srpsailing.com and click on Champions League, and there you can get some more information. And there I also just saw that on the right side it looks a little bit better breeze. We have to see. I think it will get quite close. It looks like Norddeutsche Regatta fine is a little bit faster coming from the right side, and I think the yellow boat did the jibe too late.
Yes, I think they were over the lay line, and it will probably cost them their third spot, because right now Norddeutsche Regatta fine can squeeze over the water comeback from this team. And this was what we were talking about before. This is the price you pay when you are laying together with another boat and trying to coordinate the jibe and not being taking your wind. And here the Club de Voile Saint-Aubin of Elbeuf from France. They, as you said, jibed too late and went from a third to a fourth spot.
Yeah.
But on second spot, it was the Swiss boat Bordet de Tribord, and really well played by Mühlenberger Segel Club, who was leading all the way from the downwind marks, actually, or from the first top mark.
Yeah, also from the first top mark. So it was kind of a start-finish game.
And not easy keeping your head cool and having to defend all the way because it's nerve-cracking in these conditions. But they did a really great job.
It's quite interesting. They started from the middle of the starting line, so nothing special, and they just tagged with the shifts, and nothing special. Just really good sailing. Congrats.
And increasing their lead during the race. So well done by the Mühlenberger Segel Club. Let's see if we can have the French sailors for an interview. We are hoping for Oliver, our on-water reporter, let's say that, to get on board or get them on board a rib and have an interview with them.
The Club de Voile Saint-Aubin-Elbeuf, they were second place in the French National League last year, and they also participated in last year's Champions League qualifier, where they finished 20th, so they didn't qualify for the finals, obviously. And yeah, maybe this year, I would wish them luck for that.
Yes. And we have Ollie here in the picture. Oliver, can you have a French comment from us?
Okay, so guys, fourth place. You're not happy with the result, I assume, or how did you see the result of the race for you?
Well, we prefer to do better because we lost two places in the last downwind leg, but we sailed pretty well. We just have to fix some details, and we think we can sail better and better during all the event.
And what do you think about the weather situation now? It's better, right? I mean, yesterday was very light. Now I think it's quite fair sailing, isn't it?
Well, if you speak about the weather, there's less sun, which is better for our skin and better for sailing, apparently. So now it's cool. There is a good wind, so the fair races. We wait 2 days for that, so it's cool.
Okay, good luck for the next race. Thank you very much. And back to the studio.
Thank you, Ollie, and also thank you to the French club. Better for sailing, they said about the weather out there today, but still a little bit disappointed about getting from third to fourth spot on the team. Understandable.
Yeah, that hurts. And it looks like the breeze decreased a little bit outside. We have now about 4.5 knots. Let's hope it stays like this. If we have stable over 3 to 4 knots, we can do some fair racing.
And right now, as we see, the teams are shifting boats, and we will have 6 new clubs participating here in the next race. But let's get a little bit back to this. We were talking about wildcard. We've been talking about that suddenly this event is here in Tutzing. We need to have a little bit of background information.
Yeah.
Like the Corona 2020 has definitely shifted the agenda for the Sailing Champions League 2020. It was meant to have, as always, 3 qualifiers and then 1 finals. But this year we will have only 1 qualifier, and this is the one. And then, as it looks now, top 12 from this race or this regatta here in Tutzing will go into the finals. So it is definitely a lot on stake for these teams. There's no more possibilities for qualifying. But how do you think it is suddenly having this year for the sailors that has changed so many of the plans, but then now anyway have the possibility of having finals? How do you think it is for the sailors?
I think when we go back to March, when we were all sitting at home and maybe just having some fun with e-sailing, and I think we all thought there will be no sailing this year, or maybe only sailing at your home club, and maybe doing some racing with your club members, but not Champions League was nobody thought about Champions League, that this would happen in any case. So everybody is happy that they can just go on the water and race on such a high level. We have really, really good participants here, and everybody just tries to get what he takes.
Yeah, get the best out of it, and it is, as you said, just amazing that we could get 23 teams here participating in Tutzing, and with so high level. And of course, some countries actually canceled their participation because of the corona. But I mean, we're really getting the best out of it. And as we said, top 12 teams from here at the qualifier will go to the finals in Porto in Italy in October. So there's a lot to fight about, and it's amazing sailing down there in Italy in Porto. It's a beautiful club, it's a beautiful venue, and being able to participate at the finals at the Champions League is just it's a great honor always. So there's a lot to fight for. And also, I must see, you just told me that some wild cards are coming from the second division. I mean, if you qualify here from the second division directly into the finals, it must be a great honor as well.
Yeah, it's sensational, and that's also the spirit of the Champions League, that you're not doing this for yourself, you're doing this for your club, and then the club has the honor to start in the Champions League, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, so it opens some doors for some clubs here, the setup at this event here in Tutzing.
We can see now we are almost in the starting sequence. We have now almost 2 minutes to the start.
And what are the teams preparing right now, Lena? It's, as you said, 2 minutes. What are they preparing right now?
So everybody has a pattern, has a pre-starting pattern that they are stick to. So you check the line, which side of the line is favored, which is actually, I think, the left side from SAP Sailing Analytics. And they are talking about, okay, what will the wind do? Will it shift right? Will it shift left? Can we say anything about the clouds? Which is the favored tack? So are we getting closer to the upwind mark on the starboard tack or on the port tack? Yeah, you try to, and then
the wind, because I mean the wind must be very important to be updating all the time, because as we talked with Ollie on the water, and you also said many times, it's shifting constantly. So is there one person looking up all the time, or how do they coordinate this with the wind?
Yeah, normally I think it's different on every boat, but I think the most successful procedure, which most teams are doing, is that one person on the boat is the tactician, and he's only looking out for the wind and what is happening, and he's not really participating in any boat handling, or not much, just going with the others. And he's looking all the time what has happened, what could happen in the next moments.
Yeah, and it's about being flexible until the last seconds here of the start, because it can swift so fast, and you need to then also adjust your starting plans. Here in the picture, most towards leeward, we see red boat, which is Union, I think it's Union Yacht Club Wolfgangsee. And here we have an onboard camera
at Münchner Yacht Club.
Yes.
And now it doesn't really look like the left side is that favored. It looks like everybody is just trying to get a clear wind spot on the line.
Yeah, but starboard tack looks high right now. We see them crossing here on the start. Clear line, and the boats can race. I must say, great start from this Austrian club, Union Yacht Club Wolfgangsee, and also the black boat just behind them, which is Württembergischer Yacht Club. Am I saying this right, Lena?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, good. And these are the guys we have in the picture here right now. We see red boat tacking there and going just behind them. So looks as if we have the Württembergischer Yacht Club in front now here in the black boat towards us.
And they tacked actually because there was a left-hand shift, and they thought maybe if we tack now we have more possibility to have clear breeze, clear wind, because they couldn't tack as the last ones, because then they would be maybe have not that much possibilities anymore. So it was a tactical decision.
But they look a little bit packed in there.
Yeah.
The boat number 6 from Union Yachtclub Vulkansee, they look as if they are both having their wind covered a little bit by the yellow boat, Regatta Club Oberhofen, and also the black boat, Württembergischer Yacht Club. So tough decision, and yeah, it's as you said, Lena, the wind shifts come so fast, and there they are admitting it, that they're laying in some bad wind and tagging out. But you have to be reacting on not only the wind but also the other boats, and this was just a little misjudgment. But as we've seen before, it ain't over until they are crossing the starting line, so there's a lot of fight for. They are only on leg 1 here, so
now we can see the analytic which says now that Windsurf-Vereinigung Almere Central is now on the first, because we can see from the streamlines of the boat that there was a tiny right-hand shift, and the WSV Almere Central is very extreme to the right side, but we will see. I don't think they will cross, or maybe it will be really
tight,
really tiny.
Yeah, I'm also in doubt if they will cross. I think still the Württembergischer Yacht Club is, here we get it more and more confirmed that they're still in the lead, Württembergischer Yacht Club. But great job from the Dutch team here in this race. Windsurf-Vereinigung Almere Central. And here we just slide through the teams, and here in the picture right now we have the 2 leading boats, number 1 and number 5, who is Württembergischer Yacht Club and Regatta Club Oberhofen.
Yeah, they will now tag really close because they are on ley line. I think Regatta Club Oberhofen could have tagged maybe. Well, we don't know. We don't see how close they were. Maybe they could have tagged a bit earlier in order to make more pressure on Württembergischer Yacht Club. I think it would have been maybe a little bit more smarter, but.
But they also have to think about the other boats coming up here as we see them in the picture. So, and right now, is there maybe a little bit of right-hand shift? Because they're looking as if they actually are over the ley line, the yellow and the black boat. So, this is, I feel for the sailors out there, are really, it must be so hard taking these decisions. And right now we also see lighter winds. We see almost no legs outside the boats, or at least less of them. And we see the water is more like an ice surface, so a little bit less wind out there for the sailors.
The analytics say it's 5 knots at the moment. Oh, if they can squeeze in!
Oh,
Oh my God,
this
would be embarrassing for the first one.
Oh,
but Württemberg has a good speed. As they're coming there.
But it's the Windsurf-Vereinigung Almere Central who actually squeezed themselves impressively around the top mark there on a shared first spot, I would say. Well done, and luckily for boat number the yellow and the black boat, they were not punished too much by going over ley line, and they were still there in the top 3. Oof, and this boat here, they had such an amazing start, the Union Yacht Club Vulkansee, and here they are just had a little bit of tough top mark rounding with almost no speed in the boat, and
they were also really, really tight. They had to go really, really high.
Yes,
and that's also why they furl in the jib, because if you furl in the jib for the last few meters, you can go even a little bit higher. And then sometimes if it even feels like, I can't make it, if you furl in the jib, you can go these 5 degrees higher to squeeze in.
But it's taking a lot of the speed, but worth it compared to an extra tack, right?
Yeah.
But it has divided the if we see in the overall, we can see now they're still laying a little bit like pearls on a string here right now, and still Württemberger Yacht Club is in the lead. They've been able to hold the lead, and they're attacking simultaneously here with Regatta Club Oberhofen.
Yeah, they drive because they are right in direction of the gate mark, and they were all trying to stay as long as possible on the starboard tack, as it was the favored tack on this downwind. Not much, but a little bit favored.
and just deep concentration here. We see the kite trimmer on this Württembergischer Yacht Club just constantly looking up on the kite, and probably he'll feel a little bit of coverage from the yellow boat from Oberhofen. Yeah, it's you need to be so concentrated. You talked about the wind just before the race, and the tactician is still looking a lot on the wind, but also the trimmers and the skipper and everyone has to be aware of the next thing. Will Regatta Oberhofen actually overtake now Württembergischer Yacht Club? It will be an interesting button mark rounding. Let's see if we have Ollie out there on the water soon, who can guide us a little bit about what's happening out there on the water. Ollie, has Oberhofen overtaken Württembergischer Yacht Club now on the downwind?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they're currently rounding the first mark in the first place. There was a little bit of wind coming in from the middle of the course. I think this was a big benefit for them, so they were able to overtook. It's really hard to see. We just discussed, I mean, there are some puffs coming in. Usually you can see them on the water, but today it's really tricky. You really can't see if wind is picking up. The direction is quite stable. It's not so shifty, but when the puffs are getting in, they are really counting back. It was interesting to see the strategy of the sailors. I mean, there was the Austrian team, which you analyzed at the first upwind, with a very good leeward start. But there you could see that, I mean, the sailors need to have a clear strategy, and they tacked away in a situation where, you know, nobody of us here on board would have said, well, we have to tack. And then he has to pass away from two other boats, and from that second on, he was not under control. He was tacking again and again, and now he's, I think, in 5th or 6th position. So it's so important here to have your clear plan, to position yourself right at the start, and then follow your strategy. You have not much time to say, well, let's discuss it during the upwind if the left is better or the right. You need to continue, keep the boat speed. And the guys from Oberhofen, which we probably can see, the yellow boat, they are having really a big lead now. I mean, they did a very good start. They decided to come from the right-hand side of the course. They took over the guys from Württembergischer Yacht Club, which did a quite good job as well. But now they already have like 40, 30 meters. They're ahead of them, and they are probably already on the ley line. By the way, the trend of this upwind is definitely the right-hand side. I mean, we heard that in the northern part of this lake it's raining. There's probably a little bit more wind, so it shifts a little bit to the right, and the right hand seems to me have a little bit more pressure. And this is where Oberhofen is positioned, so I see them in a big lead, and probably they're going to make it to the finish. But back to you in the studio.
Really interesting insights from Ollie from
Yes,
outside.
I must say as well.
Things we can't see from the studio. That makes sense. I already wondered that maybe the right side is a little bit better, and if there's really rain in Starnberg, then yeah, of course.
And also Ollie said that the puffs are really difficult to see, and right now we see two persons up on the windward side, but look at the water, it looks all glassy, so it is difficult to see the puffs on the water, even we can see now in the camera. So huge respect for the Regatta Club Oberhofen here in the picture, who has mastered it so well here in this third race in Flight 3. Here, great, amazing job with the roll tag. But I'm a little bit, because Ollie said out there that it is important to stick to your plan. You don't have enough time to actually adjust to it. But I must also think it's important to adjust, because if there will be changes during the race, you need to be flexible.
I think he referred to this that Union Yacht Club Wolfgang See, they tacked into the bad winds very early, and that was maybe not the smartest decision.
So not only think about the winds, but also think about taking where you're taking yourself compared to the other boats and stuff like this. But yeah, as Ollie said, they have a huge lead, Regatta Club Oberhofen.
Oh, yes.
And here we see boat number 2, or boat number 1, rounding as second. Württembergischer Yacht Club here in the picture. He's having up the kite up. amazing boat work from the teams here, but it is of course also the Sailing Champions League. It's what we can expect, but I think I see super well-handed boats and kite sets and everything here. Do you agree with me, Lena? Or
Yes. It's very high level, also compared to the last years. If you followed the sailing leagues the last years, the level gets better every year. The boat handling gets better every year. It's almost perfect. We cannot say much about that.
no, it is in general. It's really a happy sight, I must say. And here in the pic we just saw before, the Windsurfverein Almere Central, who is on third spot.
They did on the second upwind, went quite extreme to the right side, and went from I think 5th place or something to 3rd place on the upwind. So
and
very
that
good
fits
job.
to what Ollie said on the water, with the right side being a little bit favored in his eyes out there. Yeah, they are looking backwards here on the Oberhofen Regatta Club Oberhofen, but I must say they are pretty secure of taking the win of this Flight 3 Race 3 here.
Regatta Club Oberhofen is also very experienced in Champions League sailing. They finished 12th at last year's Champions League finals in St. Moritz, where we also had quite difficult conditions.
So again, and one more of the experienced teams here at the Sailing Champions League in Tutzing. And they are sliding into the finishing area right now. Here we see the bottom marks in the bottom of the course.
And I think they're also doing a quite good job on the downwind. As you can see from the sailing analytics, they had a really straight streamline and seemed like they could go a little bit deeper than the other boats. And that's why they could even extend their lead. I think we have to watch out in the next races for them. They're doing a good job.
Yes, and after this race, we will have every boat will have the equal amount of sailing. Then we can look at the overall score. But Regatta Club Oberhofen here takes this beautiful win here in Flight 3, Race 3. Well done by this club, who mastered these tricky conditions perfectly in this race. Here we have are we having a battle about the second spot now, Lena? I think it will be still Württembergischer Yacht Club who is in on second spot.
Yeah, they should get it. It's quite clear. I think they only wanted to save to get in on the favored side of the finish line.
And Windsurfverein in Almere, who had some ups and downs in this race so far, are getting into the finish line here on third spot.
Yeah, from
Great.
5th to 3rd. Very
Yes.
good.
And now we will see the next clubs entering the finish line. But let's start looking at the overall results for this regatta so far. Who do we have of who is right now being in the lead of our qualifier here in Tutzing? We start seeing some clubs being dominating, and Deutscher Touring Yacht Club, who is your yacht club, Lena, are still in the lead. And then we have Segel- und Motorboot Club Überlingen, who is in second spot.
Yeah, they are even owner of a wild card. So someone who has a wild card is on second position, which is quite good. And with Regatta Club Oberhofen, who just won the race, is now in third position after their first place.
Yes, and I spoke with them this morning actually, and they were very hoping to improve their races, and they did so far. So really great job. So right now we maybe could get the scoring up on the screen, the overall score, while we see the teams changing their boats. Big coordination out there with ribs and everything.
We're just waiting to get the leaderboard to be confirmed.
Oh, but the sailors must be like, this is so demanding all the time, being, having your head out of the water, out of the boat, looking at the water. It's demanding here in this lake, I must say, Lena. Here we have the overall leading board. As we said, Deutscher Touring Yacht Club on the first spot. And how is it with the points? It's about getting as less points as possible. Sometimes it's opposite with sailing, and sometimes it's... But here we have having as less points is the best. So that means that we have Deutscher Touring Yacht Club on the first spot, having a first and a second and a second. And then Segel- und Motorboot Club Überlingen having a first, and then a fifth. And then Regatta Oberhofen, which we just saw winning this last race, they had a third and a third before this. So, but the points are close. Look to the right side of the leaderboard. We still have a lot of races in front of us, so a lot can happen.
Yeah, all in all, we have 18 flights. I'm not quite sure if we can do that, but I think the race committee will try really hard to get as much races as possible. And we will see now from this point of view, all these boats would continue to go to the Champions League finals. So the first 12 boats will continue to the finals. And if you are a sailor, you always have that in your head. And we have 23 clubs here, so 12 boats. That's a little bit more than the first half of the fleet. And you're on the water. You always try to be in the first half in the races. So you try to maximum do a fourth place or something, which we can also see here in average with these boats.
And do you think we see a little bit of a system that we have some more lake sailors in the scoreboard right now?
At the moment, for sure. So yes. Regatta Club Oberhofen, they are from Thunersee. Überlingen is from Lake Constance, as well as Württembergischer Yacht Club. Mühlenberger Segel Club, well, they are from a river, from Elbe in Hamburg. NAV is from the Alster in Hamburg. Bordée de Tribord, I'm not quite sure if they're also from Thunersee. We have to confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think only Wassersportvereinigung de Möwen. They are from. You might know that.
At least there's the name is in Dutch Seagulls, so I mean they must be maybe from the sea. I'm not sure, but
yeah, so maybe
sure Cascais is from the very much oceanish from the Atlantic Ocean. So I mean. It is for sure a little bit more tendencies to the lake sailors, but yeah, so definitely.
Which is, by the way, the youngest team we have here. This millennial team. They are all born in 2000. That's quite funny from my point of view, and they are all quite good for 20 sailors.
And they also participated last year at the Youth Sailing Champions League. So it's a big step. Suddenly sailing with all these experienced seniors, and they're doing a great job so far. And right now, if they continue sailing like they do now, they will qualify to the finals.
Maybe we can see the other side of the leaderboard. Perfect.
Yeah. Here we have
your country companions.
Yes. We have Juvik Boat Club here in the 11th spot, still qualified as it looks right now for the finals. And
And Wassersportverein Himmelingen, they won't be happy with their place at the moment, as they finished, as they already won bronze in the Champions League in 2018, and they also participated in last year's Champions League. So I think they have other.
Yeah, let's see if we maybe can have an interview with the Himmelingen. I think we could have this. We have with Carsten Kimmeling from. We have a comment this morning when we spoke with him. He wasn't happy about his races so far, but let's see what he had to say. We're here with Carsten from Wassersportverein Hemmelingen. I hope I pronounced that all right. Carsten, how has it been racing so far?
Yeah, the day before yesterday we had 2 races, and that didn't go very well for us. We had 2 races and finished I think 4 and 5, and nasty penalty involved. But that's the game, and it was not the races were fair and stable winds, but very light winds, and yeah, it was just a start.
Yeah, and explain to us what was difficult out there on the lake.
It was just the light wind stuff, and there happened some strange things. But actually, we had easterly winds and were stable so far. So we had to do our own mistakes to be bad, and that's what we did. So it was not really that difficult. Maybe today it's a little bit more complicated because so the first race is shifty, a little bit tricky. So we expect a little difficult sailing today.
And what are your expectations for your team then? How will you try to make the results a little bit better?
Okay, we have to finish top 11. That's for everything. It's the same for everybody. And yeah, but we would like to be in the top 4, of course, for the finals. And yeah, and now we see it's the start now. Actually, we are sailing the first time in this team connection. We haven't sailed before like this. It's Corona, and we put a new team together. So it worked quite well for the first race. So it's about communication, about maneuvers and this. And so we have to start slowly, and maybe it works for the whole regatta. We have at least 2 more days.
And how is it to be racing finally here again with international competitors?
Yeah, it's great. Everybody was waiting for that. We had already an event with in our national league, but now with some other guys from other countries as well. It's much better, and have some atmosphere that's maybe something going on. Yeah, maybe next year it's a little bit more like normal, and that's what we all like about sailing. And so yeah, we are really happy that the organizers, the club, and Ollie, and that they managed to get the event here. And so I know it's a lot of effort, and yeah, we are really happy for that.
Well, good luck out there today, and we're looking forward to seeing you trying to improve those results.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and right from this interview from Carsten from Hemmelingen, now into the first race in flight 4. We have 40 seconds to go.
And the wind increased a bit, as we might see. We have now 6 to 7 knots outside. To the start, the right side is a little bit favored. That's why they are all quite close there. We can't see the starting boat, but it's up there, and 20 seconds to go.
They're quite high in the wind there, and let's see here. We have towards us, most towards leeward. We have Württembergischer Yacht Club, who had a great race before. Also in boat number 1, right? I think.
Yeah,
as I remember.
They stayed.
So they are feeling happy there in their boat, and also having a great start here. But 2 other boats who also had great starts are boat number 7 and 8, Norddeutscher Regattaverein and Stenungsund Sällskapet from Sweden.
I think the best start was from Wassersportvereinigung de Möwen on the yellow boat on the right side, and Stenungsund Sales Club
yeah.
on the pink boat, who started on the favored side and can now control the whole fleet.
And the scoreboard right now shows a team that we haven't been talking so much about, been hiding behind. It's the turquoise boat and boat number 2, Seglervereinigung Wuppertal, who looks as if they're in great control of the fleet, because this was a thing Ollie also said before when we had a comment from him on the water. It's a lot about controlling your competitors. Yes, you have to read the wind and everything, but it's also about controlling, because if you don't see all the puffs coming down, it's about being between the top mark and your competitors in the back, so you don't risk anything. So here.
And he said that, and you can also check that from the sailing analytics. The wind is not so shifty. It's pretty stable. So it's a lot about boat-to-boat tactics here. And now they start, but I have to go behind, I reckon.
Yes. Yeah, and also the yellow boat who we have in the picture here is also doing a great job It's Wassersportvereningen de Meeuwen.
That was a bad decision from Seglervereinigung Wuppertal.
2 boats.
They should have waited, and they're not so close to the ley line, so it was no need to tag, and now they lost so many boat length.
Yes. They took a little dip to get some free wind there from the yellow boat, the Dutch boat. So expensive decision from the Seglerverein Wuppertal.
But there we can see the red boat, which is the Union Yacht Club Wolfgangsee, who did a start on the right side, and then they had to tack away due to bad winds from the yellow boat. And now it seems like they got some good breeze from the right side.
Yeah, and this right side is having a little bit of magic in it, because we are all the time mentioning in it, and also Ollie said that the right side looks great out there. So understandable that they went out there. And also we have another boat that I think we should keep an eye on as well. The blue boat, the Windsurfvereinigen Almere Central. They have actually been really much extreme to the right in all their races so far. So they must think there is something special out there. But it looks as if we'll have a quite close top mark rounding now.
Yeah, and the last race it paid off. There they scored the 3rd place, the Windsurfvereinigung Almere Central. Seems to work quite well. We are now quite close to the upwind marks. These boats are already on the ley line. It's not the green mark in this race, it's the red mark.
Yes. How is it with these marks, Lena? They can change, right?
Yeah, I think that's also an invention of the sailing league, of the league sailing.
Yes.
That we have I think normally 3 upwind marks, a red one, a green one, and a yellow one. Where you have to, that's costly. Norddeutscher Regattaverein, they thought they could tag, and they have to go way behind. You have 3 upwind marks such that the race committee can switch, and such that we can start races faster. It's all about time.
And just keeping the dynamic up in these Champions League sailing here. Let's see if we can have a comment from the water from Ollie, who is out there and seeing it live right now.
Yes, I'm back from the water. Very interesting race. I mean, we could see the yellow boat from Holland. These guys had a really fantastic start. As you mentioned, they started very, very far at the windward side, and they controlled the fleet more or less from the start on. It's not a proper lead. It's like 1-2 boat lengths, but they made a really fantastic job. And we watched the NRV quite closely, and nobody had them on the radar before, and there was just, I think, missing like half a boat length. Otherwise, they could have squeezed in. They didn't manage to do so. But again, back to our friends from Holland. Pretty good job. The tactical decision is definitely the trend so far, the right-hand side of the course. We can see on the water that there are another, kind of dark clouds are getting in from the left. By the way, I mean, the reason why I know so much about this sailing venue here and about the race course is that our rip driver, Max, he's a very, very good league sailor. He's from the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, so he knows the lake much, much better than I do. And we have ongoing discussions about the tactic and the strategy of the sailors. We expect the right-hand shift will end in a couple of minutes probably, and it will shift back to the left. We expect some rain. But so far, the trend is definitely the right-hand side. The right-hand side of the starting line was better. And from the right-hand side of the course, the Dutch were able to control the fleet. But what is happening now, by the way, I hope we can see it, is that the rest of the fleet, they decided to jibe immediately after the first mark, and they go to the right-hand side of the course again, and by that I mean it was a big gain for the yellow boat on the right-hand side. Downwind, they should have done the same. They didn't do that, and now they were taken over by at least 3 boats. One of them is the NRV. I can see them now probably on 2nd place. So very interesting race. Lot of changes, and going to see the next upwind course what is going to happen. And now back to the studio.
Oh, it looks difficult also. Ollie, he also made it clear to us that it is difficult tactics out there. But from the commentary box, it looks so difficult. And then imagine how it is to be in the boats. It's even more, because we see everything from a bird perspective, and it's some super difficult decisions. And the Dutch boat here, the yellow boat, they had a hard.
They at least dropped to third place, and also from our point of view, the right hand gate side is favored. So I think they also lost
Even
because
more.
they had to take the left hand mark. Oh, that hurts.
Yes.
It must have hurt even more from the boat. There we can see that the mark was changed. We can see in which direction. I reckon to the right side even more, because the wind shifted right during the downwind.
Yes, I would say the same, because they all came in on such a high course there on the downwind.
And actually quite interesting, the Windsurf-Vereinigung Almere Central, which you can see now at the top leading, they did a jibe set on the upwind mark and were the first one to catch this breeze from the right side, or shift, or what it was, and seems like they are now leading.
Yeah, they're quite favored of the right side, the Windsurfvereniging in Almere Central, and so far it's also been paying off. But someone whom Ollie also mentioned on the water is the Norddeutsche Regattaverein. I mean, they are all the time having a good comeback. If they're losing a little bit, they went from almost first at the top mark, had to dip 4 boats, and now it looks as if they're actually in the lead of this race. Again, they're all the time taking the opportunity to fight back, and I must say I'm really impressed by their sailing here today of what we have seen.
And now what we just saw is that the Norddeutsche Regattaverein tacked in front of Windsurf-Vereinigung Almere Central, such that they had to tack away because they got bad winds from them. And I think that maybe also that now Norddeutsche Regattaverein could have managed to overtake them by this tactical maneuver. So very good job by David Chapman.
Yes, and I actually think on the drone footage before, I could see that that's maybe why they're attacking now. There would come some wind out there to the right. And let's see if we can get the drone footage up in a bit there again. Do you agree with me in the top left of our picture? There is a little bit more wind, which is their right side. It's maybe difficult to see, but I think this is what they were going for. The Norddeutsche Regattaverein.
Yeah, Ollie said that there are clouds coming from the left, so there's maybe coming a lefty soon. So sometimes it's also like this, that when you're getting when their cloud is coming from the other side, first get before a righty, and then the lefty comes. So maybe we will see a lefty now in the downwind.
Yes, it's for sure going to be interesting. And
yeah,
here
and NFV is rounding us first. Really good job.
Yeah,
due to this tactical maneuver, they squeezed in front of Almere Central, and yeah.
And maybe the wind went a little bit more, at least to the middle, because they didn't do a jibe set here. Of course, we have the mark towards the right, the top mark they just rounded, so it's a more normal downwind compared to the last one. But it looks as if, look, they can go pretty deep here on the starboard tack. The first boat rounding the top mark now.
And it's still very, very close. That shows the high level of this race. And all the boats are still very close.
Yes. Even though I must say, Norddeutsche Regattaverein, they took themselves from, what did we see, 4th or 5th at the last top mark rounding, and now they are having a quite good lead now. But the rest of the places...
they didn't do a lot of magic on the first downwind. They jibed quite early and then seemed to be quite fast on downwind, and then on the last upwind they were just taking shifts and going through the middle, so not extreme on one side, and that seemed to be enough, together with some very smart tactical decisions, that they could take the lead.
And here in the picture we have the Union Jakob Wolfgangsee, who were looking to when to jibe. Their opponents in the black boat that we see behind them just jibe before, the Württembergischer Yacht Club. it's definitely gonna be soon that they have to jibe. I'm guessing they're on a ley line pretty soon. Here they go, preparing for the roll jibe.
And amazing lead by Norddeutscher Regattaverein. They did also, before they did the early jibe and then jibed again back, and that's really smart if you want to cover your opponents from the left side. So you're always in between your finish line and your opponents, and so they even elongated their lead, and yeah, they will go in first place. Congratulations to Norddeutscher Regattaverein with David Chapman as on helm.
Yes, sailing together with Juliane Adelesen, Miklas Meyer and Luisa Krüger here. They just crossed and taking down the Jenneker here, winning the first raid in Flight 4. What a great achievement of this team.
They seemed a little bit huzzled of this race, like, oh,
yes.
what just happened?
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's so close.
And now we're having the exciting part of this race for sure, because who will get over the line here? I think second spot is for the Windsurfvereinigung in Almere Central. Well deserved. They had a great race so far, almost in the lead all the time. And third spot will go to,
I think, the red boat.
Yeah, Union Jakob Wolfgangsee, who just squeezed themselves in. Where did they come from? They must have been way more to the right. And actually, they jibed before. I think we were talking about the black boat from Württembergischer Yachtclub. They were laying next to each other, but the red boat from Austria jibed before, and this right side still has some edging in it.
I think now they were better because the right, or the side of the race committee boat of the finish line was way favored, because they didn't do something quite different or better. It doesn't look like this for me. It just was that they took the favored side of the finish line, and the finish line is so long that this is a high advantage. I think like 2 or 3 boat length. So that was just, yeah.
And that's
not good looking from the other boats.
Especially something to think about when you are rounding a mark that was, it changed from the red to the yellow mark during this race. So the top mark was so much to the right. So then the shortest line to the finishing line is then also finishing at the windward mark. Yeah, or a windward side of the boat. But it's great respect for the sailors out there. It's definitely not easy. And we also, I sense now on the colors of the picture that we are having some clouds over the racing area. And also we feel here in the commentary studio, the breeze is kind of like shifting, and the temperature. So I think we'll have some exciting races ahead of us as well.
Yeah, we have now 7 knots in average, and it also feels like when I look outside that it's even increasing at the moment. It also gets darker, some clouds are coming in, and yeah, I think we will see some exciting racing.
I agree with you, Lena, but let's just have a review of how the Sailing Champions Leagues looked like in 2019.
This was the Sailing Champions League 2019. For the first time, there were 3 qualifying events before the grand final, including a first ever qualifier in Palma de Mallorca at Club Nautique Arenal. Fantastic sailing conditions and crystal blue water guaranteed a perfect start to the season. Never before have so many nations and clubs been represented. 72 clubs from 20 nations competed, including clubs from Estonia, Portugal, Spain and Australia. These same countries launched their own national sailing leagues during 2019 and were eager to challenge the more experienced teams on the international stage. The 2019 season was also a record year in terms of women's participation. Overall, 27 female sailors competed in these high-performance regattas. Competing in the second edition of the Youth Sailing Champions League at Kiel Week, the youth team of Bodensee Yacht Club Ubelingen celebrated victory again. Winning the youth title earned the Ubelingen crew a wild card for the Sailing Champions League final. High up in the Swiss Alps, the final took place in strong Maloja winds of up to 20 knots. A perfect setting for the sailors and the many spectators on shore. The Sailing Champions League celebrated record viewer numbers on the website as well as on the live stream produced by Sailtracks. The Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, already the winner of the Oceanic League, sailed a fantastic regatta in St Moritz to become the very first Sailing Champions League winner from outside Europe.
Sunny pictures we saw there. We got the best of the clips from the review here at the Sailing Champions League from last year. And right now, as we just talked about before this review, more clouds are entering our racing area.
Yes, and we have now almost 3 minutes to the start. I think the flag must go up in a few seconds.
But we don't like. I mean, of course, we just spoke about when we saw the review here. Oh, Palma. Oh, you know. But it doesn't matter for us sailors right now. Here we are, like, these conditions are dream conditions for sailors. It's wind and this Starnberger See,
and it's
the
stable. That's also nothing you could ask for on the lake.
Exactly. So we're just happy that the Tutzing here is turning it on for our next race here in the qualifier.
And
the
there it
Sailing
is.
Champions League.
3 minutes to the 11th race of this qualifier, and it's the second race of the 4th flight.
And here, some of the teams that we will have a look on is, of course, the Deutscher Touring Yacht Club, who is in the yellow boat participating at this race, who are so far leading this, or now we'll see, like, until before they were leading. Let's see after this flight, but also a club that we have to keep have a look on is the Club Naval de Cascais, the young guys who you said were all from the Millennium, and have done a great job and adjusting to the different surroundings here on the lake coming from the Atlantics. Then also Mühlenberger Segel Club we saw earlier on having a great race. So it's going to be an exciting race here, this next one. 1 minute and 50 seconds to the start.
And the wind is shifting a lot at the moment. I can't clearly say which side of the line is favored. And it also looks like all the teams are still looking around. Okay, what should we do? Which side will be better? What will happen on the upwind? Nobody seems to be quite clear about one side, even if we only have a little bit more than 1 minute left.
We quite often see here at the starting, before the starting frequency or before the start, that the teams have their head out of the water. We can see here on this boat that they are looking up all the time and trying to see what's going on. And further up here we also have the French boat looking backwards and seeing what is our plan, what are we going to do. So
here we can see Bocholter Yacht Club, also a team from the second national league in Germany who got a wild card to come here and to maybe practice for the next event in the second national league.
Yeah, and I mean, amazing. Imagine these teams, they can actually participate at the finals coming from the second division, having a wild card here due to the fact that some countries were having to cancel their participation due to the corona situation. Maybe they have the opportunity to qualify directly into the finals. That would be so great for these teams and something to fight for. And now they have 17 seconds to go until the start. We see here the red boat from France.
Which is quite close to the line.
Yes, let's see if they can burn these 6 seconds.
So now they duck down and we'll be fine.
Yes, they had I think they had a great start with great speed in the boat. The Frenchies here, we see them in the red boat, in boat number 6. And also another club who got a good start was the Deutscher Touring Yacht Club, who's also one of the boats will follow super close in this race because they are leading the event so far. It's the yellow boat number 5. Great speed out of the start. And then 2 boats we can't see here in the picture. They're laying behind. in the light blue and black, I think, it is the Club Naval de Cascais and Mühlenberger Segel Club, who also got quite well off the starting line, right, Lena?
Yeah. It's quite interesting, like the line was, in the moment of the start, as I said, it was pretty shifty before, was perfectly straight. So it didn't matter if you started on the left side or on the right side. That's why all the boats like look also now pretty equal. They're quite close together. And now they were all checking because, not because of a shift, that was because the port tag is the favored tag.
Yeah, maybe a little bit later during this race we can have again some on-water comment from Ollie, because it is really tricky to see here from the screen what's going on, and I feel something is happening. Like we can feel it in the atmosphere here on shore, like how the wind is blowing, the temperature is dropping. Let's see if Ollie soon can be with us and have some comment on how it is on the water.
Ja, kann ich. Okay, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me too. Well, the wind is picking up. It's getting darker and darker. I mean, around in these lakes there are a lot of flashlights. There are always flashing when thunderstorms are around, but we don't expect any thunderstorms. Good start. I mean, good start, especially from the local team from the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club. Yeah, they're controlling the fleet. The guys from Portugal, the young team from Cascais, they are boat number 4. I think we can see them sailing down there. I think it's a dark green boat. It looks quite black. It's really dark here. But it will be a match between the guys from Portugal and Deutsche Touring Yacht Club. So far, it seems to be that the guys from Cascais are leading the pack. They're already on the ley line. Touring is now crossing behind, so it looks to me that Touring will be on second place, rounding the first mark. Yeah, interesting sailing. Wind is really stable. It's picking up more and more. The big trend that the right-hand side was much better, I think it's kind of over. It's kind of equal. So Touring made it through the middle. Cascais, I think as well, middle to the right-hand side. They are now rounding the first mark. Very good maneuvers. They usually, by the way, the guys from Cascais, they don't sail on J70. I think they sail on another boat class with a very young league in Portugal. Portugal, by the way, will have this year the Women Sailing Champions League will be hosted in Cascais. Even in the strange Corona situation, a lot of women teams are finding their way to Cascais. By the way, women teams we can see here. Münchener Yacht Club, a local club. Munich is the city which is pretty close to where we are here now. 3 girls on board, and if you see on many other crews, a lot of women are joining the Champions League, which is great. But back to the race. Leader of the pack is Cascais. Second is Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, and it will be interesting to see how this race will end up, but very short, very close behind the Touring Yacht Club is already the Münchener Yacht Club on the green boat. So back to the studio, and I think will be interesting second upwind course.
Wow.
Yeah, Münchener Yacht Club had a great hoist, and it seems like they even got closer to Deutsche Touring Yacht Club. And in front, what we can see is that they also seem to get closer to the leading.
Yes, for sure. And Ollie had a lot of great information there. One of the things I picked up was also the fact that there are lights blinking everywhere. And he's not talking about thunder lights. He's talking about some lamps, right, Lena, around the lake. What does that mean?
Yeah, we call these things Sturmwarnung, so in English, storm warning. And that's something I've only seen that at this lake and at a few other lakes in Bavaria. I think there's nowhere else. They start blinking when it's a possibility of storm, and now it's a slow warning, so it's a slow blinking. And if it gets to the fast blinking, then everybody has to go inside. So also the race committee would have to cancel the race, because then it gets too dangerous. The reason is that we are here quite close to the mountains, and it can happen that a thunderstorm comes very fast and is very nasty and very dangerous, and that's the reason for these storm warnings.
Yeah, but so far we didn't have any thunder, but maybe we will see later in the afternoon.
I don't think so that there's something heavy coming. Normally we only have heavy thunderstorms when we have really great weather and then suddenly black clouds are coming. But now we have the whole day a little bit clouds and covered sky, and I don't think there will be a big thunderstorm coming.
Well, let's see. Right now, here Tutzing is really giving us great conditions for racing. Ollie pronounced it pretty stable out there. So this is a sailor's dream to have wind and fairly stable wind as well. And here in the picture we have Deutscher Touring Yacht Club, who is leading the race, who is also locals, and right now handling the boat really well in this extra breeze. 3 persons hanging out on the rail. That means that wind is pretty good out there. And in second spot. First spot is Club Naval de Cascais. The young guys, only around 20 years old, doing a great job here on the lake, I must say. And it will be, we could hope maybe for an interview with these guys after the race, because they have really mastered it well also in their last races. So whatever they're doing, they should just keep on going like this. We see them in the picture here to the left in the green boat.
Yeah, what is quite interesting, Club Naval de Cascais, they decided for the right gate mark, while or from here to say the left gate mark, and the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club decided for the other gate mark. And first I thought, maybe not the best decision of Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, because it looked like the other side was more favored, which Club Naval de Cascais took. But they took some fresh breeze from the left side, and now they got a little bit closer to the leading boat, to Club Naval de Cascais.
Yes.
So we got a little bit more breeze from the left side on this upwind.
So even though it's stable, you still need to be aware of those small breeze effects, because they actually have an influence, as you just said. And I think right now, as we can also see on the scoring board, it's a battle between the Deutscher Touring Yacht Club and Club Naval de Cascais. I think really wise decision from Cascais to tack inside, so they're closest to the mark. So when they tack now, they are actually going to be favored to round it first. And I think I saw a protest flag coming up there on the Portuguese boat. I think there's nothing really to penalize, but let's see.
There's a lot of distance.
Exactly. But here it's about having a good set. If you have a bad set right now, it will cost maybe the race win. 2 great sets here, and actually the third boat is also with us in the game about winning this race right now. It is Bocholt Yacht Club, who we haven't mentioned at all, and here they are in third spot. Great job from this team.
It's really funny. They got a wild card, and they are, I think, They did 15th place in the second national league last year, so they're not really good. Oh, and there we see a puck up. Oh, from Team Zigzag from Lithuania, but they saved it.
And here in the background, we see one of those blinking lights, and I also heard, we will also have it in those. This is quite cool. This is local, I must say. This is local experience, guys out there. We right now get some blinking lights on a lake, which means storm warning. But this is a light version. There's also a more hard version, which means you have to go in, right?
Yeah, that's like now I think every 2 seconds or something, and then there's also the blinking, which is every second or something. And that's also the first thing you learn when you learn sailing here, that these are the warning lights, and when they start blinking, you have to go into the harbor.
Yes, and from personal experience, they are right. I have experienced sometimes that clouds can come from behind the mountains, which you did not see. So it is for sure something we have to respect. But these blinking lights mean that we can continue racing, but just that people need to be aware that there can come some stormy clouds over here.
It got really, really tight, actually. All the boats were coming together. I think that was like because when breeze is coming from the back on the downwind, all the boats are squeezed together. So we will see who will win. We can see on the blue boat, Bocholt Yacht Club, they tried it on the right side. They jibed out, quite early. And it looks like, when Club Naval de Cascais drives back, it looks like, oh my god, who will win this?
Yes, it's so close, and I think we actually,
Amazing.
the drone footage will be our friend. Buchota Yacht Club looks as if they are taking this win, and second place is going to Cascais, and third spot is now
Oh
for
my God.
Müncher Yacht Club.
And
Oh.
also Club de Voile Saint-Aubert, they also squeezed in. Maybe they also were in front of Deutsche Touring Yacht Club.
Oh, we
That
need to have
was-
this confirmed.
Oh my
what
God.
an interesting race, and I know we'll have we'll try to have an interview with the Cascais boys, the young guys from Cascais, and whoa, what a last downwind! What a pressure it was for them, because of course they it was super close at the top mark, but to hear how it must have been on board their boat in this last downwind. I think maybe the pressure built up a little bit because we saw all the boats coming faster and faster from the back. So I'm looking forward to having this interview with the Portugal guys.
Yeah, we can also see some part of the hygiene concept here. All the sailors, they have to put on a mask, not when they're on the boat, but when they get off the boat and get on the motorboat, they have to wear a mask.
Yes. And
Because there
also
you
in
can't
the
keep
most part of the
distance.
venue here on shore, also masks are required. And it's it feels safe, I must say, that it is like this. Well taken care of from the club, the host club.
And Müncher Yacht Club is also, which we can see here, they are also from this lake. Their club is in Starnberg, which is like 10 kilometers up north. And so they're also quite used to the sailing here. That's why they managed to, I think, put a third place.
And let's see if we can get a comment from the Cascais boys, who I must say they had a really good race, but were so unlucky the last part of the downwind. Ollie, what do they say out there, the boys from Cascais? They finished second but had an amazing race. Do they have any comments?
Yes, I'm on board of the guys from Cascais. First of all, very good performance here, guys. The last race was very unfortunate for you. What happened?
We should have tagged before the yellow boat, but I made the call not to tag, and it was a difficult position at the top mark. But the guys did really well, and we are doing well. So a second is a good race, and we have to keep focused for the next ones.
How about the conditions here? You like it? It's close to what you have at home, or it's totally different?
No, totally different. In home we have really stable winds and big waves. So here is the complete opposite, but we really like this wind and we are enjoying our time here.
So congratulations, keep on going, guys, and good luck for the next races. Bye-bye. And back to the studio.
Okay, I feel a mixture of that they're happy about their race anyway, but they're also disappointed about one decision they made out there, which I actually think we talked about it here, that we thought they were defending the inside of the mark, but they thought it was a bad decision in the end anyway.
Yeah, it was just on the last upwind, quite close to the upwind mark, when they were coming from the right side in starboard, and the yellow boat, so Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, was coming on port tack, and they went in front and then tagged after, which is, from my point of view, a quite risky decision, just so close to the mark. Maybe it's smarter that you tag before and then you are on the favored tag when you are on the ley line. And now it starts raining here and the wind picks up a little bit. Looks like 11 knots from the measurements at the moment. And let's hope the breeze stays like this, or even picks up even more.
Yeah, right now it looks super breezy out there. And also maybe we can have one of the interviews with the Portugal guys from Cascais we made this morning when it was no wind and a little bit more sun. If we can have, because they are, Ollie also asked them if it was similar racing conditions compared to where they come from, and they said no, especially or not actually. So let's see if we can have with the interview with the young Cascais boys.
I'm sitting here with Bernardo from Cascais, and you are racing here at the Sailing Champions League. How is it to be a part of that?
It's an incredible experience. Last year we had a first experience in this format in Kiel for the Youth Sailing Champions League with a different team, the same skipper, Enrique Brich. We like this format. It's a different format of racing. It's been quite tricky here, but we're liking the experience.
What is it tricky here on the lake in Tutzing?
I think the light winds. We're from Cascais, so from the Atlantic, and we're used to more wind and waves. And I think that for us the most tricky part has been the lack of wind. But we managed so far to get 2 races in the first day, so it was pretty good.
And in Spain, you just recently started the sailing league in the J70s. How has it been to have a league like this in your country?
Portugal.
In Portugal?
Yes. We started last year, and it has been very good for the sailing in the country because it brought many sailors together from many ages and a mix of experience from many classes, and it has proven to have been a great success. And I think that the Portuguese sailors are liking the format very much.
And how is it then to compete internationally here at the Sailing Champions League, having this possibility?
It's very good because we're competing in between the best European clubs and against international sailors. And in the times with Corona, I think that going back in the water and sailing against good teams is something that we were looking forward to, so we're liking it.
We're looking forward to following you here, our only Portugal team here at the Sailing Champions League qualifier. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I actually, I said to the boys, you have a new Spanish league coming up, and they were like, Portuguese league. So, and then we joked afterwards that for us, Spain, Portugal, kind of like the same. For them, Scandinavia is kind of like the same. And yeah, this is just funny that I mixed that up in that interview. But really, talented boys we have on this team. They have won quite a lot of nationals, especially in the 420. And also, I see that they have participated at the Dragon European Championships, which I think is pretty cool of so young guys. So I must say, it's probably some guys we will have to keep an eye on in the future of sailing, because they're so performing in different levels, and here they are really the youngest team and definitely putting on a good game at this Sailing Champions League qualifier. And if they continue sailing this well, they will qualify into the finals that we'll have in Porto Cervo in a little bit more than a month. But now we have new conditions, Lena. We have 2:30 to the start, and we are in the third race of flight 4. What's going on with the wind and everything?
Yeah, as I said, it just started raining. The wind has picked up. We have now in gusts up to 30 knots, so quite a good breeze, and that's why also we had quite a postponement until this race, because the race committee had to relay the marks to make the course a little bit longer, adjusted to the more breeze and to the higher speed of the boats.
Yeah, and even though it's in the middle of the day here in Tutzing, it looks as if it's getting dark, and even Ollie had difficulties seeing if it was a black or a dark green sail. So it is definitely getting more and more dark due to the clouds here. But doesn't matter. We will have a race, and the sailors, they are just happy to have wind. So and we're happy to have some races going on. In 1:30 we'll have the next start. And some of the boats that we will have an extra, we'll keep an eye on in this race will be...
there we see people warming up.
Yes.
To be on super high pulse for the
this
start.
But I think some of the clubs that we'll keep an extra eye on in this race is, for example, the Regatta Club Oberhofen, who has done a quite good regatta so far, and the Segel- und Motorboot Club Überlingen has also done well. And then we will have Wassersportverein Hemmelingen, who we had an interview with a little bit earlier today, and the they really need a good result now because they have had not the best so far. So for them, it's pressure on them to perform now in this race.
And helmsman of Hemeling, Carsten Kemling, is one of the most experienced league sailors we have around. He partitioned often in the Champions League. He's always very good in the National Sailing League, so he expects a lot from him, and I think we should also expect a lot from Wassersportverein Hemelingen.
Yes.
Which are on the red boat.
Now we have 3 seconds to go, and let's see who will win this start. It looks as if light blue boat, Uvik Sport Club from Sweden, won that start there in boat number 2, all the way to the right.
Actually a bad start from Hemeling. They had to take away because they were in bad winds.
In boat number 6 there we see, but maybe, yeah, they at least kept speed in the boat, and yeah.
The line was again perfectly straight, so no side was really favored. And let's see which is the favored tack. So the favored tack is a little bit the port tack, but not too much. And now they're all checking to go on the favored tack.
Yes. And just really good winds now. We have 3 persons with legs over the side of the boat, so it means pressure on, and maybe even soon they have to let go of some pressure in the sails if it continues like this. So it's really, this is perfect racing conditions. And as we see here in the overall picture, the yellow boat of Regatta Club Oberhofen is in the lead, but I must say it is really, really close between all the leading 6 boats here in the picture. All the ones who are, it will be very exciting to see who will come first to the top mark.
That's also one of the most interesting things about league sailing, that the sailors, they can't adjust much on the boat. Normally you adjust the rig trim, but you can't do that here. The only thing you can change is work with the backstay, work with the sheets, work with the Cunningham, like only with, work with all the sheets you have around. And it takes a lot of experience and a lot of good feeling how to work that out and how to be the fastest boat. And especially if we have now more breeze and stable breeze, it's really important that you get the boat very fast and get it going.
Yes, and but this is also some of the techniques we talked about earlier on, Lena, that they are getting better and better year after year. Now you and I have been commenting on and off for these national leagues and sailing champion leagues as well for years. So we just see an improvement of how to handle the boats is just increasing year after year, and it's just really getting more and more perfect. Here we are on board boat number 4, which is the Dutch boat from let me just see, Watersportverein Geesbeek, if I say that all right.
And they are now on their punt mark. We can see the red mark there behind.
Preparing the Jenneker, we could see them there inside the boat. And let's see who will round first here. Yeah, it is still, I think it's the French boats from, no, it's the Swiss boats, Port de Tribord, who came around us first, but just after them came Sweden and the Netherlands. So Uvik Boat Club and Watersportverein Geesbeek. Oh, but super close. And what an amazing set with power there we had from the Oberhofen Club.
And all the boats are really close together.
Yes.
So they're from this point of view, there's nothing who has a clear lead. Only Segel and Motorboot Club Überlingen is quite far back. They had a bad start and then went from the right side completely to the left side, and that's always not the best decision, going behind all the boats, going through all the bad winds.
I'm wondering why on board the Uvik Boat Club, the Jenneker trimmer is standing up. He must be really want the best view, and maybe he's excited. So yes, maybe he's, but I would definitely prefer to sit there. Maybe he heard what I said because now he's sitting down. But And of course, it's also really exciting to see when to jibe. Now we have all these boats here in one pack, and this next jibe can be a really important decision for the race in general. Because here we see the bottom marks, and soon I think they're addressing the lay lines pretty soon.
And it's quite interesting because now we have 6 boats almost in a row, and the boats in the left, from our point of view, they can only tag if the other boats are jibe if the other boats are jibing, and they have to decide to which mark they go in order to get a good rounding.
And actually also during this chaos, we also just saw there is a change of marks, so the sailors don't even only have to have an eye on their own stuff. They also need to keep. Here we see in the bottom right of the picture that there's a change of course to a green mark.
And the green mark is a little bit more left, and we had a light left shift
on the downwind.
Yeah. But it's just a little bit, and it's a bit more far. So the race committee wants to make the course a bit longer. So due to the high breeze, they maybe calculated a bit wrong.
Yes, there we are on board. We can see the Bordé de Tribord, the Swiss club here at the Sailing Champions League qualifier in Tutzing, who are so far leading this race, but super close bottom mark rounding, I must say.
That's also an interesting fact about this lake. It's really deep. On the deepest point, it has a depth of 140 meters. So laying a new mark is, it's not so easy. It takes a long time. You need electrical help to get up the anchor and put it down again. And you can't say, just lay a new mark. The race committee has to plan this in advance.
Yeah. And you told me earlier on today that it's a glacier. It's a glacier lake, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it came from a glacier that melted, and that's why it's so long. I think, not quite sure. I think it's 30 kilometers long, the lake, and 20 kilometers wide, and like orthogonal to the mountains.
Yeah. So this explains a little bit these mark issues, and right now we're having issues with stuff getting wet here in the commentary
I have to save
studio.
my MacBook from the rain.
Yes.
That might be important.
But the sailors probably don't notice that it's starting to rain, but they notice this little left shift, and who's doing a great job here controlling the fleet is Bordé de Tribord, boat number 8 here we see in the picture, and breeze is on. I see a little bit of sometimes losing here we see that the sheet is played with now, in the main sheet on board here. The leading no, this is not the leading boat. This is Watersportvereniging Rijsbeek. Or it says Bordé de Tribord. Let's see which.
Not really interesting, this upwind. In German we call this Autobahn sailing. I don't know how you call this in English. Because the port tag is really favored from the gate mark. All the boats just had to do one tag, and then go on port tag to the upwind mark. Not a lot happening. As I said, it's really difficult for the race committee to lay out the mark on the perfect position due to I think out there might be like 70 meters depth or something.
And they already did an adjustment at the bottom mark, and now it's just probably turned more and more during this upwind. So
not easy lead for Bordé de Tribord,
who we have there in the picture on boat number 4. Or they have different. Doesn't matter. It was at least the Swiss Bordé de Tribord who was rounding first, and here in the we see them again in the picture doing a great job keeping the lead. And as you said, you called it, what did you call Autobahn sailing?
Autobahn sailing.
Yeah,
like
so highway.
German, highway. Yeah.
Highway sailing, and it's known to be a little bit boring, but it's a part of the sailing, and sometimes the wind shifts. And if it had been in the first upwind, probably the race would have been abandoned. But there has been enough legs now to prove that it is a worthy winner if Bordé de Tribord will take this win in race 3, flight 4 here. here we just...
We don't have so much changes in the leaderboard. The Segelclub TVV Aachensee, which is on the blue boat, got from 5th to 3rd, just by rounding the gate marks a bit smarter than the other boats. We remember there was quite a trouble. And Wassersportverein Hemelingen managed to get to 4th position, which were before in 6th position after a really bad start. Only Segel Motorbootclub Überlingen still can't recover really from their bad first upwind.
And now I can report here from the studio that it is raining quite a lot, and it's of course also raining out there for the sailors, even though we might not see it on the screen. And I love, this is the 470, the J70 when it's the best. The bow of the boat is starting to lift, and you can really start planing a little bit with this boat.
Yeah.
And as we talked about before, it is a keel boat, but it's super sporty and almost like a dinghy. So I think we'll see some beautiful images of the the J70s sailing out there today.
The wind dropped now a little bit with this rain, so we have now about 9 knots. Before we had up to 30 knots in some gusts. But I hope it will get stable and the wind won't drop down after the rain. And we are getting now to the finish line. Yes.
Yeah, it's a high five for these boys because well-deserved win. Even though that it was the highway race in the end, it was definitely well done from Bordet de Tribord in the first 3 legs of the race. And here on second spot we had Watersportvereinigen Riesbeck, and third spot went to Segelclub Aachensee from Austria.
And our Regatta Club Oberhofen is coming in. Not so good race for them as they won the last race.
Yeah, now we will have again all participants has raced equal amounts of races, and this is 4 because we just ended this last race of flight 4. So in a bit we'll get the overall scoring on the screen, and we will be able to see how, because it shifted a little bit in the leading board, and the points were super close after the last flight. So that means that this next flight here has actually, and here we see the water. The rain on the water. And here we have this provincial results after 4 flights. And actually, Norddeutscher Regattaverein is now in the lead. But as we see all the way to the right, points are still very close. And your club, Lena Deutscher Touring Yacht Club, had a hard race. They got 4 points in their last race. So expensive one for them, but still breathing in the top 3. And Württembergischer Yacht Club is on 3rd spot.
Yeah, we see that the Swiss and the German teams are dominating in this Champions League qualifier, with both Swiss teams in 4th and 5th position. After that, the wildcard owner of Mühlenberger Segelclub, then our youngsters, our millennials from Club Naval de Cascais on 7th place, and then Segel Motorbootclub Überlingen, which would have been way more to front without this 8th place we saw in the race, but still 8th position is fine. And then Windsurfvereinigung Almere Central, who showed some good 2 races.
Yeah, they definitely improved their races from 7, 4, 3, 2. So maybe we will see them climb the leaderboard even more the next couple of races.
Yeah, Wassersportvereinigung Hemelingen is step by step recovering from a not so good start in this regatta. I think I bet Carsten is not happy with his results yet. And maybe you can see the second part of the leaderboard. Thank you. Which is led by Bocholter Yacht Club, who just squeeze in front. Oh, four people equal on points, but he's in front due to the first place.
And he really had a great race in the last race. He took the win there. We saw in the flight before, the race before this, in this flight.
And it's also, you can check this from the points that we have tight racing here. Here are no clubs which are dominating a lot, or clubs which are way worse, or at least not on this page. A lot of clubs are really equal in their strength until now.
And as we said before, when we saw the first part of the leaderboard, Norddeutscher Regattaverein is in the lead right now after 4 flights here at the Sailing Champions League qualifier in Tutzing. And we have an interview with the skipper from earlier on this morning, David Chapman, actually coming from Australia but participating here for the Norddeutscher Regattaverein.
I'm standing here with David Chapman from the Norddeutscher Regattaverein. You already had some races today and also the days before. How has it been so far?
Yeah, quite light at the moment, very typical lake conditions. Unfortunately, didn't get many races in the last 2 days, but today got one in this morning, so that was nice to get a tricky one in, but nice to get a third.
And how has the lake played this last couple of days with this tricky weather forecast?
Just standard lake, really. So just like our training on a Tuesday night in Hamburg, and nothing too out of the ordinary.
And how has your team prepared specifically for this event then? Now you have the Hamburg advantage, maybe?
I guess preparation, we decided to go light, have a lightweight team. So we got 2 girls and 2 boys, and just really nice and mixed and good atmosphere on boat. We've only had 1 training session beforehand, and it all clicked pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with where we are.
And last year you represented Australia here at the Sailing Champions League qualifiers and finals as well, right? This year you're representing Germany. How come?
Yeah, I've been a member of both clubs for a while now, and unfortunately yacht club members from Australia couldn't get here, and I've been here for a while now, and so the best choice for me was to sail for the NRV and see how we go this year.
And how is it going language-wise then on the boat? Which language are you speaking some German?
We speak in English and we swear in German, but no, it's all pretty good. Everyone in Europe speaks pretty good English, better than me, I would say.
Okay, well, good luck out there for the rest of the races. We're looking forward to following you and hear you swear in which language it will be.
So David said they're talking English but swearing in German. So unfortunately we don't have any onboard microphones, but that could have been cozy to hear.
Maybe we can ask Oliver Schwall for next year's, because I think that could be also really funny onboard microphones.
Yes.
While people are talking, if they are shouting at each other or maybe talking about some nice girls or something.
Definitely, Lena. I agree. We will suggest this to the media team. Next year we want onboard microphones to get these German swearing words out there live. No, but it is actually really interesting because the communication part is so vital for sailing. And listening to this is very, it's just so cool to get from the outside to hear what teams are communicating and how they're communicating. So,
yeah, also there's so many for Germans. It's not so easy to communicate in English on the boat because you have so many other words, other sailing
definitely
language somehow. And on the Norddeutscher Regattaverein team is also, for example, Luisa Krüger. She's not really experienced in sailing with teams from other nations or training with other coaches and so on. So I guess you have to learn all these words. What is tag, what is jibe, and so on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in stressful situations, this translation in your head is put in, is challenged, because then suddenly you have to.
Oh, that looks funny. They take a. They take their
club flag
as a raincoat.
Yes, wearing their masks in the rain.
Yeah, that's actually the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, I think so, which are going out there.
We'll have a review of the 2019 Sailing Champions League, I guess, and we'll afterwards we'll have a little break, and then we'll get back to you with some more races.
This was the Sailing Champions League 2019. For the first time, there were 3 qualifying events before the grand final, including a first ever qualifier in Palma de Mallorca at Club Nautique Arenal. Fantastic sailing conditions and crystal blue water guaranteed a perfect start to the season. Never before have so many nations and clubs been represented. 72 clubs from 20 nations competed, including clubs from Estonia, Portugal, Spain and Australia. These same countries launched their own national sailing leagues during 2019 and were eager to challenge the more experienced teams on the international stage. The 2019 season was also a record year in terms of women's participation. Overall, 27 female sailors competed in these high-performance regattas. Competing in the second edition of the Youth Sailing Champions League at Kiel Week, the youth team of Bodensee Yacht Club Ubelingen celebrated victory again. Winning the youth title earned the Ubelingen crew a wild card for the Sailing Champions League final. High up in the Swiss Alps, the final took place in strong Maloja winds of up to 20 knots. A perfect setting for the sailors and the many spectators on shore. The Sailing Champions League celebrated record viewer numbers on the website as well as on the live stream produced by Sailtracks. The Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, already the winner of the Oceanic League, sailed a fantastic regatta in St Moritz to become the very first Sailing Champions League winner from outside Europe.
darfst du nicht ran.
Ja, eigentlich nicht. Ich meine, wir haben keine andere Wahl. Müssen wir mal.
Auf welche? Hier ran. Ja,
So hab ich das.
ja, ich noch ein bisschen warten. Die schwarze oder was? Die ist noch dran? Eigentlich geil ist es immer noch nicht. Diese Antenne.
Ja, die muss eigentlich echt frei sein, ne? Aber eine andere Option haben wir gerade.
Nee.
Nicht, ne?
Das auch nicht. Haben wir noch ein Gurt oder sowas?
Hier an, ja, vorne im Kraftwerk.
Halt ihr mal fest. Ja, du fährst dann aber nicht mehr Vollgas, sondern...
Ist dann halt so. Nee, Längsfläche, diagonal ist am längsten.
So. Ah, Mann. Kann man jetzt das gut einbinden? So. Sorry.
Ich bin noch ein Stück höher. Aber da ungefähr kann er nicht.
Was denn?
Ja, alles mit, so ist gut.
Entschuldigung, Knoten, das wird alles sein.
Hier oben durch, ne? Achso, das zieht sich dann hin.
Verrutscht der nächste schon mal nicht mehr. Ich gehe auf die andere Seite. Weil da ist ja Wasser im Boot. Kann doch nicht wahr sein. Aber weißt du, was so richtig trocken ist, ist da jetzt aber auch nicht.
Ja?
Bei dir.
Nee, bei mir ist jetzt auch nicht ganz so total.
Der Gimbal ist wichtiger, sagst du.
Ja, also der, was da hinten dran ist.
Gut, dann gehe ich jetzt mal hier oben hoch.
Da jetzt nicht, jetzt hört das auf, ne? Nee, geht auch links an der Schwebe erst.
Warte mal. Ne, erstmal hier. Da ist so ein Auge. Jetzt hier. Komme ich da, kann ich da außen rum?
Ja, da.
Ne, da kann ich nicht. Da muss ich da durch.
Ja, das, ja.
Halt ihn mal stramm.
Da reißt du die Antenne ab.
Dann unten.
Ja, entweder unten oder hier, ja.
Ja, dann pass auf, dann mach ihn. Aber dann wird er verrutscht, ne? Wo ist das denn jetzt? Wo ist das denn jetzt her? Nee, ist es. Hä? Guck mal. So. Dann machen wir es hier. Was wir was gemacht haben? Hier können wir einfach rausziehen. So, jetzt lass mal los. Er hängt zumindest. Ja, der Wind ist jetzt ja gerade mal weg, oder? Das Ding hält.
Oder? Die fahren schon wieder. Ja. Jetzt demnächst wieder rausfahren. Wie sieht's aus? Stabileren Schirmkau. Super. Eine egal Übungsverregung. Ich glaube, ich muss jetzt doch mal was schnappen, was die Kamera wirklich kann. Ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, wie ist ja an den Seiten offen. Und wenn da jetzt so ein Wasser reinkommt, ihr müsst halt eine Halterung an die Stange bauen. Und was eigentlich die Stange, die darf eigentlich gar nicht was machen, weil jede Kartoffel die auf der andere Stange. Nee, darum nicht, aber was oben dann quasi wie so ein Zelt runtergeht und das ihr das hier seitlich festmacht, einfach schnell. Das ist wie so ein Art Zelt, das ihr nur schnell aufspannen könnt, wenn es wirklich trifft. Dann kann es draußen stehen bleiben und dann ist es nicht wurscht. Wie so einfach, dass ihr hier oben drüber über die Querstange was runterspannt. Ja, also so und noch nach hinten und dann könnt ihr das mit rüberspannen und und runterspannen könnt ihr das ja eben. Ja, also ich meine, hinten, also du kannst es ja dann so spannen, es ist halt so vom Winkel her, dann hast du halt vielleicht weniger Range, aber ich meine, du kannst dann halt immer noch fahren draußen. Ich glaube, du hast aber die Festigkeit des Schauers. Sowas ist ja nie so. Okay, dann glaube ich schon. Hörst du wieder? Ja, dann machst du die Situation auf Haus und Grundstraße, das ist mir ja gleich mit der kleinen Hecke. ich würde einfach fahren und ihr haltet dabei den Schirm ein bisschen runter. Dann gib noch mal ein bisschen Gas, Verdrängerfahrt, das müsste schon abfüllen.
Ja, weil ich muss auch die Box so lange, darf ich nicht rumstellen.
Ja. Ja, aber also Pfützen hast du eh keine Chance. Da willst du dann durchgucken.
Ja, klar. Nee, wollen, Olli. Wollen wir.
Aber natürlich, jetzt bist du ja trocken, was soll's?
Ja, jetzt ist eh egal, aber.
Jetzt ist eigentlich egal. Obwohl, jetzt von der Seite kann immer was anfangen.
Ich will es einfach nur als Backup jetzt.
Okay.
Gut, diese Box dürfen wir erst ins Wasser stellen, wenn Wasser drauf ist. Heute herstellen wir hier, das ist der einzige, der uns noch total läuft.
Okay?
Ja. Jetzt warten Sie noch, bis Sie wieder Tracking-Daten haben. Das kann auch 4 Minuten dauern. Aber wir sind ja jetzt hier im Wasserfeld. Muss ich jetzt mit Schirm und Hauskanne da, ne? Okay. Ja, vielleicht.
Einer dahin, einer dahin, einer dahin.
after this break, we had one race during the break that we missed out on, and actually it was a good coincidence that we needed a little break here from the studio, because because of the rain, we also had some issues technically. So we race 1 in flight 5 we didn't have, but now we are tuning right into the start of flight 5 race 2 here. And can't explain what...
It looks a little bit strange at the moment.
I was just about to say I can't explain what happened here here in boat number 1.
I think that just was the start, but I think there was a crazy left shift just right before the start, because otherwise the teams would have been a little bit better prepared. And
it looked as if this boat here closest to us, boat number 1, just went straight into attack when the shift came, because they, at least they are now on the port tack. And here we have one of the crew members going to the bow of the boat to try to clear the tack, the telltales from the jib, because it's so wet. It has been raining nonstop now for about an hour. And
Yes, and checking the forecast, it will rain for another hour, and as we sailors all know, comes first the wind and then the rain, then the wind might drop, and that's what happened. What we can see now, our tracker says 9 knots, but I think that's not true at the moment. It looks like there are barely 4 to 5 knots or something, so just right enough. And of course, with the rain, there comes some heavy shift. So now the rain gets a little bit lighter, and then afterwards that heavy left shift came.
Yeah, and for sure it's still as demanding as it's been the whole day for the sailors here because of these rains. I think the pressure is still pretty tricky on the water there. But right now, leading this race, we have Czech Republic from Truck Yacht Club Pisen, and they haven't been up leading before, so it's nice to see some new leaders here in this race. It's these ones in boat number 6 that we had in the picture before, in the red boat.
Yeah, actually they are at the end of the leaderboard. We haven't even shown when we showed the leaderboard today, so in between place 21 and 23. The guys from the Czech Republic, but with this crazy start, they managed to get out quite well.
And we still have Ollie on the water, probably quite wet underneath his sailing jacket, maybe. Ollie, it's been raining out there for about an hour now. How has the sailors coped with that, and has it been any change of the wind compared to it? It looks lighter now.
Yes, first of all, I hope you can hear me. It's really raining cats and dogs outside here. So the short break, as you mentioned, Susan, was very good for our camera system. So heavy rain, and after the rain the wind drops tremendously, so we have a big left shift, and as we could see at the start, it shifted immediately a couple of seconds before the start, so much to the left that on port most of the boats can't make it over the line. So this was a little bit chaotic. Benefit from that was definitely the guys from Czech Republic. They tacked right away after the start. Without another tack, they were able to reach the first windward mark, the white mark, and now they're having a direct course, what you call Autobahn or highway sailing, back to the leeward gate. It happened exactly what we prognosed a couple of minutes ago. We said, well, when the rain comes in, first of all, there was a very hard shift to the right. Now to the left, the wind drops. Very, very tricky conditions. It's brightening up a little bit, so the rain is still there, but not as heavy as it was a couple of minutes ago. But we can see it's really tricky sailing. The leading boat, Czech Republic, are like 50 to 70 meters away, heading down to the leeward gate. And for most of the teams, probably very frustrating, but they hadn't any kind of tactical opportunities now, because all they can do is taking the direct course to the first mark, and the wind is getting more and more down. We hope that when the rain is gone, that we have at least a little bit more wind, but let's wait and see. But as far as they're going to finish the race, the Czech Republic have a big lead. What we probably can see here is the guys from Deutsche Touring Yacht Club far away from the first mark. I think they're going to round at 4th or 5th place. And the guys from Segelboot Motorboot Club Überlingen right beside them. So not easy to sail. We're going to all hope that it's going to stabilize. And with these last words, getting back to the studio, I hope you are safe and dry, because we are kind of totally wet outside here.
Yeah, we have a cozy campervan feeling here, right, Susan?
Yes, we're dry, but you also have to keep safe out there, Ollie, on the water. Thank you so much for the insights. And yeah, as Ollie said, it's a little bit this highway or no way situation we have going on right now. That the Truk Yacht Club Tutzing were able to hold the mark after their first tack to port, which means it's pretty left out there.
Yeah, but we can also see, that's what I love about the SAP Sailing Analytics, that you can see from the streamlines after the boats perfectly how the wind is shifting, and you could see very well that there was another more left shift on the upwind, and yeah, now we can see the change of the race committee, that we are going now to the green mark.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, super slow.
Yeah, and you also mentioned this earlier on, that you were a little bit afraid of the fact that when the rain would come, that the wind would drop, and this is exactly what happened. Yeah, the teams are just, they still have enough wind to have 1.5 person to windward, so it's not that bad, but we just love to see those legs overboard before hiking, but this is not the conditions we have right now, and I must say, so far it's been being flexible and adjustable for the sailors. That has been the key word, because it's every race has looked differently the whole day.
And I mean, the sailors, they can complain now about the conditions, but that's sailing.
And we're still
you can complain, but that won't change the wind.
No, and they are still racing, and the race committee makes these judgments if it's fair or not. And right now it is, according to them, fair, and they're one of them, as we talked about earlier today, they're one of the most experienced starting committee that we have in the National League here in Germany, and also in the Sailing Champions League, so they know how to deal with these weather situations. But here we see 2 boats in the picture. It's Municher Yacht Club and Segel- und Motorclub Überlingen, and who had some great races so far today. So it is going to be exciting to see how this race will actually maybe shaken up the result list a little bit, because I mean, for the locals here from the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, being right now in 5th position, as we can see on the scoring board, that's not what they want here. They really need to get some good races in to keep their lead in the...
Yeah, and the race committee just shifted the mark, or put a new mark about 40 degrees more to the left, and shortened the course about half of the length, because we also have a time limit which we cannot exceed, which is, I think, if it's the same in the Champions League, about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And if that's longer, the race gets abandoned.
Yeah, and the wind just dropped so even since the start. It dropped before the start, but now even since the start it dropped even more, and it's totally wise of the starting committee to shorten the course. So we see it here in the picture. We have our green mark there in the top left of the picture, and what a lead from the Czech Republic.
Yeah, such a race is just for the sailors have to do the best out of the situation. It's really hard to stay focused, because sometimes you just get angry, or what's going on and I have no chance. But you really have to stay focused. This is also a race. You have to get this into the you have to get, you don't have to be first, but you have to save it somehow. For example, like Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, the 4th place would be all right.
Yeah, and it's every point counts. So, I mean, it's also about maybe getting that last boat in front of you. You can try to even catch it, because they still have 1.5 leg, or the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club has 1.5 leg left to play with. So maybe they can catch some boat with some wise decision or extra speed.
So it's super interesting. I just checked the rain and the weather forecast, and we have still now some rain, not much, but a little bit. And in about half an hour, this rain will be gone. And then we will have about half an hour no rain, and then the next front of rain is coming. And I expect a few different scenarios. Either when the rain drops, when the rain is gone, we have no wind anymore, or we just have maybe the wind stays like this a little bit, and then new breeze comes. What I really hope that with the next rain shower, then new breeze comes.
Yes, let's hope for that. We have the München Yacht Club here in the picture, currently on 2nd spot. And must be one of the lighter teams. They have 3 women on board, which allows them to have 2 crew members on the starboard side of the boat. Great tack there, out with the leg and everything. Love the energy, and a great roll tack. Ready to set the kite here for the last top mark rounding for them in this race 2, flight 5. Super set. I must say, I'm very impressed by all the maneuvers. We said it before, but they're beautifully kite sets here, and they're really managing the boats well. And the kite gets heavier in the rain, so it's not as easy as it looks, but they make it look easy for sure, this team.
Yeah, München Yacht Club has also a very, very young team. I think the average age must be something like 22. And they trained a lot the last weeks. They are all students, and they were done with their exams, so they took their spare time off the last weeks to train a lot here. So that might be some advantage, as we can see.
Well, here we can see how heavy the Jennaker is right now in these conditions. Normally a happy Jennaker has a little bit of a shoulder in the top of the Jennaker, but here they barely can have it standing right now, and it's both heavy because of the rain, but also super light winds. So it's challenging trimming conditions. And yeah, let's see if we can have some more comments from Ollie out there on the water, because it still seems so tricky out there, but Truk Yacht Club Pisen, they have mastered it very well, Ollie.
And seems like they're going over the finish line.
Connection with Ollie on the water, but right now we see here Truk Yacht Club Pisen from Czech Republic finishing here. What a great effort from the team in this quite challenging race, but they mastered it from almost the beginning of this race all the way to the finish, and it's for sure a high five for the team there, and they are of course happy with their race, even though it was more of a highway race than we've seen before. Let's see, Ollie, if you are there on the water, what's your comment on how the race has developed?
Yes, I mean, it was a tricky race for everybody, but the race committee made a really good job. They changed immediately the windward mark for the second upwind. So I would say it was a fair race, a good benefit from the guys from Czech Republic, because they were leading the pack right away from the beginning, so there was no chance for the other boats. The wind is getting back. Still raining, but we got winds much more from the south, so totally changed course for the sailors. But as you can see, the Jennakers are still up. They are heavy, as you said, as everything is really wet, so sail in these conditions is not easy and keep the concentration high. But Munich Yacht Club will be definitely on second place. Good job, very light crew. Very good maneuvers, and they are now in a couple of seconds. They will follow up the leaders from Czech Republic. Yes, and all the rest of the teams is following. So for the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, they are currently on place number 4. I think they're a little bit under pressure, the locals. Even for them, it's not easy to read the wind here today. But they're trying to make the best out of it. Überling is following closely to Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, so we will really see who has finally a little bit of more luck, a little bit more pressure. Every gust which is coming through helps now, and it's even harder to see now where the wind is getting through. All of a sudden it comes, whether from the left or from the right-hand side of the course. So there were not too many changes. It was an Autobahn's first upwind. But nevertheless, overall, due to the fast direction of the race committee, I think was a fair race. And now the wind seems to be stable, and I hope that we have for the next start again good sailing conditions. And back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Ollie. And yeah, it's great to hear that it is what we see as well here on the screens. It is just super hard, and especially to keep the concentration here. We see this demanding Jenneker that is super wet and not a lot of wind is carrying in it. So it is hard to trim it. And here we have a last jibe of boat number 3, which is Seglerverein Wuppertal, who crosses the line here as, let me see, 4.
I think so.
No, I think it's 6 maybe. 6th position. So yeah, and the Deutsche Touring Yacht Club, as Ollie said, it's not the one we have in the picture now, but they crossed the line as 5th and are really it's been a hard race for them. Locals can't even read the course. It is because of these rain shadows we're having at the moment.
Yeah, well, we should not forget they managed to score. I don't know, it was a 3rd or a 4th place. It was quite tight at the finish line, and that is okay. You have to stay in the first half. So place 1 to 4 is what you should aim for. Just the places who are more back. If you score an 8th place, you have to do a first place again to compensate that.
Yeah, true. So,
but it hurts looking at that. It's especially, I mean, half an hour ago we had amazing sailing conditions with 10 to 13 knots, and also the sailors are like, oh, can we just get a time machine and get the wind back?
Yeah.
It's really difficult to adapt to these new conditions and to stay focused, and as you said, to stay concentrated, because these races, they count the same like the races in the nice conditions.
And the Watersportvereinigung, the Meeuwen, which we see here in the picture, are really, they have had a quite unlucky race for them, because I noticed when the Czech boat was rounding the top mark as first, before the last downwind, they rounded the bottom mark. So they were a whole leg behind the leading boat. And keeping up the spirit in these light winds and then being so much behind, it's tough. But it's a part of being a sailor. And yeah, this is what we will see, who will be the best of being a sailor here at the Sailing Champions League. Qualifier. Do you think we can have a race now, Lena? What is your thoughts about this?
I don't know, because the wind tracker I think is not right. I highly doubt that we have 8 knots outside at the moment. So I think it's more like 3 knots. Now it's always a good indicator if the kite can fly. And as we can see now on the yellow boat, the kite is not flying at all, and that's a bad sign. So if I would be on the race committee boat, I would put AP up now.
Yeah. Let's see. It's not up to us. We're just commenting. So, but one thing we have that we can show you guys is that the next race, if it will be held directly, we don't know. But the Regatta Club Oberhofen will be in this next upcoming race. They're one of the teams being shifted into the boat right now. And we have a little interview with the skipper from the team, Stefan Sager, this morning.
We are with Stefan here from Oberhofen, and let's just hear how has it been racing so far. You had 2 races on having 3 points on both. How has that been?
Yeah, for us it's okay. 3 place number 3 is fine. We want to reach the final, so we are on course.
And how has the weather conditions been here on the lake so far?
Oh, it's like Switzerland, small winds, very shifty, complicated conditions, but it's very low, and we expect some more wind.
And now you're finally racing again. How does that feel here in the end of 2020?
Oh, we will see how it will end. We think to reach it.
And how does it feel being back, like racing against international competitors here in Germany?
Ah, that's nice because we trained the whole summer with Corona, with masks, and now it's nice to compete again. Yeah, we did some small races in Switzerland against each other, but not international competition.
Thank you very much, and good luck out there today later.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Stefan Seger here from the Oberhofen Regatta Club. Who was happy being racing again after this Corona spring where everything was limited and all races were cancelled. It's nice to have this international atmosphere again. And Oberhofen was so far, I think, on a 4th or 5th position in the regatta. Of course, they haven't had their last race in yet, so we cannot say it fully out. But they are on a 3rd spot right now, and let's see if they make a good race. They're looking really good to stay in the top 3. So and Seger, his last name is means winning in Swedish. So
really?
Maybe he could have some advantage of
Yeah,
them.
that's also a funny side fact that Stefan Seger, he's sailing with Bruno Zeltner as a tactician on the boat here, and their sons, they are sailing together 49er, and they also won the only, I think the only J70 regatta which was here in Europe this summer. So there was one regatta at Lake Constance, I think 2 months ago with 50 J70s, and they won it, the sons. So
wow,
successful families.
Yes. You had right, Lena. You were right. AP is up, and in the backdrop here we see one of the teams waiting for the wind to come in, and we also see the blinking lights. It's as you said, a little bit of waiting time ahead of us. What do you think the teams are doing with this time? I mean, are they just chit-chatting, or are they actually having some talk about how to address the next race?
Yeah, that's the most difficult thing about, we just talked about that, about waiting when the AP flag is up. You, on the one hand, you have to relax and take that free time, and on the other hand, you also have to stay focused. So what I do when AP is up, for 10 minutes I chill, and then when the 10-minute timer is up, I try to do some tags and do some practice, and then again 10 minutes chill time.
Well, maybe Ollie, you can help us with what are the teams actually doing out there. You have one of the teams, or you have one of you have the PRO with you there in the back.
Yes, I'm on board of the race committee. Wolfi, very, very mixed day, heavy rain, big shifts. We're looking from the outside. You did a really great job. Every shift you reacted fast. What do you think? What are the expectations for the rest of the day? You live here.
Yes, at the moment we are on the behind side of the rain, and the wind drops. I think there comes a second rain wall to us, and in front of the next rain, I think the wind will come back from westerly direction, but the big shifts will stay for the whole day for us, I think.
And all the starts we had before, how did the sailors start? Was it a lot of pre-starts? I think I haven't seen many of them, or was it anyhow? It was quite comfortable start, right?
The starts were okay. Sometimes we had a single, only not more than one pre-start, early starter, and most was the reason that someone on the leeward side pushed him over the line.
We had a lot of discussion about the competition that is increasing. I mean, you did a lot of German League and Champions League events. Here we have a lot of wild cards, so people from, teams from second leagues or even, just beginners like the guys from Portugal. What is your impression about the performance of the teams here?
Very different. Yeah, I think at the beginning from our second league, the Bocholt team had big problems, and then they won a race. It was very surprising. But they have all the day, they were smiling, and I think the mental situation is important today.
So we hope we get some more wind today. What are the expectations for tomorrow? I mean, the deep pressure system is getting over. Do you expect wind for tomorrow?
At the moment, the weather forecast says we have wind forecast for tomorrow will be okay. I think we can start in the morning and sail over the whole day.
This sounds very good. So thank you very much. And we hope that we get some more wind. The rain is getting off slowly. We are already wet, so we don't really care. So I send you back to the studio. Thank you.
And thank you so much, and huge respect for the PRO sitting out there and doing all these difficult decisions on the water. It's not easy, but so far today I think they managed perfectly and got all the races in, and they are very positive for the weather forecast tomorrow.
Yes, I talked with them yesterday evening, and they said that their record was to put 10 flights into one day, and they wanted to break that record here, but I think they won't manage it today. We are now in the 5th flight, and so 3 flights, and we would have 7 to go. But I mean, it's the sun is up until 8:30 or something in the evening, so we have quite some time.
Yes. Yeah, let's see, and we'll be live here for the next at least 50 minutes, and again tomorrow we will be live, and we hope, of course, that as many as possible will follow. And tomorrow it will be super exciting with some final races that will make the decision of who will go to the finals of the Sailing Champions League. So quite a lot of on stake for the sailors, and we'll just. I'm looking super much forward to the last races tomorrow. It's always the most exciting stuff that's going on at a league regatta.
Yeah, and the PRO confirmed what I already said, that now the first rain front that we have now is already gone, and then there's another one coming from the west, and with that there might be fresh wind coming, or at least we hope for that, or we can hope for that.
Yeah. So, but you were looking at the radar just before, Lena, and how did it look like?
It looks like that in 1 hour the next rain will come, but it was also like this with this rain. The wind came like half an hour before or something until the rain arrived here, so it already pushes before, and this could happen again. So
fingers crossed for us.
Yeah, fingers crossed that the next one is coming. And the wind forecast for tomorrow is also quite good. We still have a gradient wind system from the west, and it looks like even 2 gusts until 17 knots. We have to see if that's also right. You never know here at the lake if the forecast is promising. We hope for
I can just say it. And we are actually, as we can see in the picture, Ollie, you are close to one of the Swedish teams, Stenungsund Segelsällskap. What are the sailors doing now during this AP flag up waiting time?
Yeah, first of all, I think the sailors are freezing. So you're from the north part of Europe, from Sweden, so you're familiar with weather like this. But this was very tricky today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really tricky. And we had a hard time finding the wind, and then it just turned and came up somewhere else. But yeah, it's the same for everyone.
Yeah, it's the same for everyone. So, I mean, we just talked to the race officer. He said tomorrow that we have more stable wind. We don't know what happens today. Rain will drop, or probably get more wind. What do you like more, strong wind or light wind conditions?
I think we like the strong wind more, actually. With those heavy boys on board, I think that would be good.
At the Swedish League, how did you finish last year?
4th place.
And this year, I think you plan to have the full series, or what are the plans of the Swedish League?
No, we only have one regatta left, so there will be 2 regattas in total. Usually we have 4.
And the last race will be where, in Stockholm or?
In Västerås, close to Stockholm.
Okay. And you are where are you from?
The west coast.
On the west coast.
Stenungsund, the right coast.
The right coast. Yeah, I heard about this conflict. I heard about that. So thank you for your time. Let's pray that we get some more wins and have a good sailing. Thank you.
Thank you to Stenungsund Segelselskab for a little invitation on board their boat. They're sitting and waiting, and you said, Lena, that they look pretty wet on board that boat. And yeah, but they don't mind. You're also a sailor, Lena. And did you ever notice when it was raining when you were sailing?
Not while you were sailing, but in the breaks you really noticed that.
Yes.
When you're sitting there, you're like, oh, what am I doing here? Why am I not inside having a cake and a cup of tea would be better. Sometimes you ask yourself why am I doing this sport, depending on the will of nature and
and also these sailors, they don't have a coach with them who can give them like this wading jacket to cover themselves. They're sitting there with we can see they have no like hats in their jackets to put up on the head, so it's pretty wet. But yeah, you're just accepting this situation and being probably ready for what could come up. But it looks quite glassy on the water right now.
Yeah, we could see the joker that Ollie has on the boat, what he already talked about, how he has this nice information about how the wind shifts and so on. We just saw Max Weiss, who won as a helm the Sailing Champions League in 2016 in Porto Cervo, where we also will have the finals this year, I reckon.
Yeah, we will. So, and the Swedish team, which we see here again in the camera, they also said that their national sailing league has been boiled down from normally 4 events to 2 events. So it's quite common, like also the Sailing Champion League is with the qualifications and the finals boiled down from 4 events to 2 events. It's quite normal for all national leagues to have 2, or how many events do you have in Germany this year?
Normally we have 5 events, and this year from today 4 events.
Okay.
So what we can say today, it is still discussion if we can make 50 events, but the sailors are like, everything is squeezed into September, October, where we hope the COVID situation is a little bit more relaxed. And it's really tough because it's really demanding. You have to sail 2 months, and most people are working, and also work gets more demanding as it started. As everything gets more normal.
Yeah.
Regarding the corona situation.
Yeah, definitely. So they are. It's if you have 5 regattas squeezed in after the summer break, kind of. I know you had your first in July in Kiel, but
Yes.
that must be pretty intense. In Sweden they had 2, and let's see who this team is. It is the RS 280.
The Zigzag team.
Zigzag team. Yeah, Ollie, ask them what that means, and also how are they using this waiting time on the boat. Microphone thing here, but Ollie will have it turned on now. So it is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. Geht los? Okay. Next try. So, how was it today? I mean, we had a bit of everything. Light wind, rain, more or less heavy wind. What is your impression of this day?
Today wasn't good for us because it's our first time sailing on this yacht, J. But a light wind, the raining, it's bad conditions.
What kind of boat you usually sail? Not the J70. In your league? Which boat you use?
In our country, we are sailing in RS 280. It's our national type, and it's like I said, it's our first time here, so it's really hard for us.
So weather forecast for tomorrow is much better. So hopefully gonna have no rain and good pressure We just talked to the race officer when we're going to start, probably early in the morning. First time for you here in Germany?
Yes. Here in Tutzing, yes.
Okay. And you like it here?
Yeah, we like it here, but conditions are not so good. But everything seems good.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys, and good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Ollie. And this team from Lithuania, RS 280 Zigzag. We need to hear what that's about, that team name, later. But the first time in Germany, and yeah, right now on a 20th spot here in the Sailing Champions League qualifier. But a lot can still happen. Let's see how they will do the next races. We are, because of this AP flag up, and as we see the raindrops on the camera, we will wrap it up from the studio today and be back again tomorrow at 12. It will be us girl power commentators again with Ollie as a sidekick on the water from 12 tomorrow on the same channel.
Yeah.
So
thanks for watching. We had a great day. We had a lot of weather conditions, light winds, heavy winds. We had really tight races. Almost all boats were squeezed together until the end. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, we doubled the races from we had so far. So it's been raceable, and it's just been amazing to see that we finally got some nice competitive racing in. So. But we are hopeful for more, and also, as the PRO said, tomorrow it will be great wind, so we are looking forward to tune in again. We will have some images from last year's Sailing Champions League finals in St. Moritz as a goodbye, and then we are looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 12. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you. Bye.
Here we are, the final day of the Sailing Champions League finals in St. Moritz. It's been a long journey for all the teams. Congratulations to the winners, Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron from Australia. Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron is Sailing Champions League winner 2019. We look forward to seeing you next year for another season of the Sailing Champions League.